Good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening.
I am absolutely cooked, man. Like everybody. So, a couple of weeks off through one thing and another. Show last week. This week we're back on it, and I am proud to present, or the Koi Show Live is proud to have Chip on, aka Rasta Koi. Some people may know him, some people may not. But he is the owner of the GC Grand Champion Koi of the National Koi Show. And I thought it'd be a good idea, or we thought it'd be a good idea if Chip joined us and we had a little chat, because it's not every day we get somebody willing to have a discussion with us about a journey, about Japan trips, about failures, about having the ability to take advice, put some money in a pot and deliver and actually take a GC. So welcome along, Chip. I will call you Chip, not Rasta Koi.
That's fine. Yes, no problem.
Mate. So I appreciate you coming on. But before we do, we'll just go over the normal housekeeping rules. Lee, how's your week been? Oh, sorry, how was your show?
Oh, mate, the show was great. I would have thought most people had seen the video. Yeah, it was really good. Okay, the drive was horrendous for me, 6 hours from door to door. However, when I got there, it was so easy. It was such a difference compared to the national because of the heat. It was outrageous keeping on top of those fish. But this show, the fish just were absolutely fine. And also, when I got them back to the facility here, they've just bounced back as if nothing's happened. I think they've actually enjoyed themselves. So I've had no stress at all. It's been quite easy, to be honest. It's been really good. What about you?
Oh, mate, yeah. Likewise, mate. It takes us a bit longer to pat down the news, to be perfectly honest. I think we finished at 1:30 in the shop, getting there, because it's like 5.5. We had a detour on the way home. We had a lengthy something to eat as well, because we hadn't eaten all day. But yeah, it was a long old drive back. The show itself, though, fantastic, isn't it? I love that show.
It's good.
Water's good, people are good, fish standard very good.
Really good this year, wasn't it? Better than last year. And last year was good, but the quality of the exhibitors' fish this year was really good. I thought it was really good.
Next level up, and I think we're seeing that more in younger, or should I say, smaller koi shows. I think people going on that wheel, but we'll cover that a bit later, I think, because when we start talking with Chip. But yeah, there's one fish I'll share a little bit later, and I'll get your eye on it, Chip, as well. That was at that show. Absolutely stunning Shiro, and I'll share that later. But yeah, for me, back to it. Got back. Fish have reintegrated very well. One tank, little bit of work on it, but nowhere near as bad as what it was at coming back in from the national. But I'm not quite sure why that is, to be perfectly honest. Just one of them. I think it may be because it was an indoor show. It just held the temperatures a little bit better. Like, so the fluctuations weren't as large. I think that may have had something to do with it. But overall, yeah, fabulous. Got back. We sold 30,000 pairs of Eclipse glasses. We have been literally, like, not even fish, man. It's like, I kid you not. If people have seen our Facebook page, a queue of people that went around the car park, Lee, and I had traffic backing up into nearby villages, mate. It was just horrendous.
So you sold 30,000 pairs from the shop, not even online?
No, on the premises.
Wow.
How did you get that many? But they must have been buying 10s at a time.
No, not really, mate. It's people coming up buying 4 at a time for their family. We had one person bought 1,000, and then we got word that he was selling them to the queues of traffic for extra money.
Now that's clever.
So, you know, fair play to him for that. You know,
he must be from Caerphilly, that guy.
but yeah, so yeah, back on it now though. Bit of pond maintenance today. 2 ponds back up and running. We've got some things to do there, but it's not about us. What I will say is Dave sends his apologies. He can't be with us today. He's currently sunning himself up in 41-degree temperature at the side of a lake in France. And he has sent me a couple of photos. I'll share them in a while. Worth seeing, if I'm honest with you. But yeah, Chip.
Yes,
now
sir.
it's over to you, my man. Right? If this was like This Is Your Life, I'll be stood here with a red book. You have sent me. Have a guess how many photographs, stroke videos you've sent me over the last couple of weeks.
I don't know, because I have a lot. So you told me, I think when we were pinging, you say, send what you have, we'll have a look. So, because I'm back and forth, I select, I send, I select, I send. I lost count of what I sent. Maybe, I don't know, 500, 400, 100? I don't know.
Far from it, to be perfectly honest, mate. Yeah, the level of, we'll be sharing some of them, but there's no way we're going to get through all of them tonight, mate.
Oh, that's fine.
So
that's fine.
What I'll be doing is I'll upload a couple as we go through, because you've got some that are better than others. Not in a bad way, in a way that you've got awards and big fish, but also some nice little fish as well. I'm going to ask the question that everybody will always ask: why Rasta Koi, which is also your YouTube channel?
Why Rasta Koi? Well, so I grew up in Trinidad and Tobago, small island in the Caribbean, 1.3 million people, less me. So, you know, and when I was a kid, till I was probably 21, never cut my hair. So my hair was all the way past down my waist, tied up in a bun. In fact, one time I dyed with hydrogen peroxide. Lee may understand this. Dyed it and shaved everything else clean. And I was built like Dylan, so like a stump, cricket stump. And my dad said I look like a pint of Guinness, black body, and a foamy head. But in Trinidad, when you have long hair, especially West Indians, when they see you, they'll say, "Well, go on, Rasta. Are you all right, Rasta?" Rasta is kind of like a friendly term. It's not just because you got dreadlocks, although I had long hair. So when I was in high school and stuff, it was like, "Oh, there's your Rasta boy," because I had long hair tied up. So Rasta Koi. That's how it came about.
So that's stuck.
That's stuck. Yeah, absolutely.
So
now it's gone. Now it's chase them crazy ball heads.
Lee's actually cut his hair down a little bit, I've noticed.
I'm growing a mullet so I can have a comb forward eventually.
Well, I just say to people, it was all waves, now it's beaches.
So going, obviously we've just hit on the Rasta Koi bit now, and we've pushed right back to your school years. So that's why you're called Rasta. When did the koi section come into that? When did you start in the hobby? When did you get subjected to koi? When did you start keeping them, etc.?
Okay, so koi came in the UK. Now, as I said, I grew up in Trinidad. I lived in America. And in Trinidad, I kept discus and all the tropical kind of fish, right? So when I came to the UK and I bought my wife is Welsh. I'm sure you've met her anyway. So I always wanted a pond in my house. And I tell you what, I don't know if you remember, maybe Crafty Koi, you remember this. They used to sell a hexagon pond where you could buy them a little one.
We still do. Still do.
Oh, you still do? Okay. So that was my first pond. So I bought that, and I bought a filter that goes inside of it with a fountain. Sounds weird. With a fountain. I don't know if you still sell those. And I bought from eBay 4 like Kajaku things, and I couldn't believe, my wife was astonished that I paid £55 for 4 fish. She said, that's crazy money. Why are you paying so much money for these things? So that started. The boys, Brandon would have been probably 6, so not so much older than a wolf, really, maybe double his age or something like that. So it started about 20 odd years ago, 23 years ago or so. And from that, it grew into, it went from that Laguna thing, that hexagon pond, into me digging a pond and all that sort of jazz, you know.
In the same place as you live now, or was it a different place?
No, it was a previous house. So I got that, And then I realized quickly it wasn't big enough, as we all, So I decided to dig a pond one evening, had some friends around, pizza and beer, and they dug and we dug and we dug out a pond that had 18,000 gallons. That's what it came to. And we didn't put no bottom drain. This was a retro drain. I don't know if they still sell them with those pumps there. And my
Yeah, they do,
filter,
yeah.
okay, my filter was a brand called Laguna, and you had to pump it like both hands like this to clean it. And that went in there, came out, and then I went and bought fish from a guy close to me called L.E. Koi, Bill Nibbs. I don't know if you know him. He used to come to the BKKS years ago. Israeli Koi I started with. And actually, he was a really nice guy, and he helped me out a lot. And so that's how the journey started with fish. And I did everything wrong, everything wrong, everything you could think of wrong. I did it. I tried to do stuff on the cheap, try to do stuff, make my own filters out of a blue barrel with K1, pumping stuff inside of there. I put a electro heater on the pond one time. Then we got the electric bill, and the heater came straight off. My wife was going to drown me in that pond. And it was a journey. It absolutely was a journey. Almost packed in a number of times, but yeah, it was a journey.
So on this little journey then, Chip, when did it change from tinkering, budget gear, big pond, cheap fish to, more serious koi keeping? What made you make that transition?
Good question. So one year I kind of like had enough of killing fish and things not going right. And I went to the National Koi Show. I don't know if you guys would know this. One year they hosted it at the Bill and Aquadome.
Yeah, it's down the road from me, Chip, that.
Right, okay. So they hosted it there. So I took Brandon, my oldest boy, we went down, 10-year-old, he was 10 maybe. And we went down, and that's the first time I met the elusive Mike Snaden. I messaged him, I phoned him, I called him, I tried everything, no reply, no reply. I went down there. Yeah. I went down there and I met the legend that is Mike Snaden, and we talked, and he kind of then started to steer me. He invited me down, and I was like, okay, finally I'll figure out if this is a real place. And so that really kind of get me there. But going back a little bit, if I may, when I started getting rid of fish, I didn't buy fish from Mike. I realized that these fish I needed to move. And back then there was a koi dealer in a place called Burton-on-Trent that I got buying fish from, called Richton Koi. I don't know if you heard of them.
My brother lives in Burton. I know the place.
Right. Okay. So I started buying fish from Richton, and they were the guys who got me to kind of like redesign the pond, take the retro drain out, take out the line, put a bottom drain in. I still put a line in because I couldn't afford glassing, and I'm not talented like Lee. I've got the good looks, but not the talent. So I had to put back.
You're better looking than Lee, mate. Don't worry about that.
I had to put back the liner in and put the drains, and then it began to grow. The journey began to grow. I went into a sieve. I don't know if you still do those. A sieve and a bead. So this was a Richton bead, and that was like the journey began a little bit better. Heated.
What year was we talking there, Chip?
Well, so that's before the East Midland Koi Show, which was 2012, the first time I showed. So that'll be 2007, 2008. Obviously, I was 12 years old. No, just kidding.
Just as I was getting blown up and discharged from the military.
I was thinking the same. Where was I then?
Yeah, so that was around then. And then with Richton, eventually I moved on. I kind of grew out. I think in the hobby, you may notice, you may experience this, hobbyists can grow out the dealer in what they supply and what I got. I know you guys are dealers, so I hope none of your customers outgrow you. But I kind of grew out like the experience. Then there were some things that didn't work out, but I then reconnected with Mike Snaden, and he invited me down. And what then transformed the hobby, because I fly a lot, travel a lot, and then getting your missus to clean a bead, a bubble bead, and a sieve, do you know, or sponges or anything, ain't gonna work. So I went out to see Mike, and Mike and I were talking, and he had these things in his yard, his backyard, as we would say at home. And I thought they were barbecue grills. I thought he was like smoking, like smoking meat and stuff like that. I was like, oh, you're a smoker. He's like, what? And then I realized they were Profi drums. He had just import them to his place. So I was one of the first to see them. And I got one from him, a 4045, which is the smallest stainless steel drum. And I installed that in, got rid of the bead, which caused me some grief, but got rid of the bead and put backy showers in with BHM, Lee, because back then that's all they had was BHM. In fact, some of that BHM is still in the pond right now. And my hobby then transformed a notch where I started getting fish from Mike that were a little bit more money. He never tried to sell me fish, which I found is strange. In fact, he never wanted to sell you a fish. And I thought, well, are you not in the business of selling? And I bought a fish from him. And those fish I bought from him, later on, I would grow to my first one in a pond of, actually, I then raised the pond. So it was all floor level, and I put bricks around it and raised it up a bit, no windows. And so it went up to like 26,000 gallons, and I thought it was ginormous.
Gallons or liters, Chip?
Gallons, 26,000 gallons.
26,000 gallon.
Oh, sorry, 2,600 gallons.
Right there,
sorry.
yeah.
Yeah, 2,600 gallons. And I had 5 fish in there, and most of them grew past 85, 88 cm in there. So I kept smaller fish, and I'll tell you this story. Just tracking back a little bit, I had hard water then, and Mike got me into RO because he pioneered, did a whole like reverse osmosis. So I was the first to use a pH controller with a dosing pump and taking my KH from a KH of 8 to 9, stable, but 8 to 9, down to a KH of half a degree, which is what I run now. He got me onto that. And
we'll touch on that a bit later on, Chip.
Okay. So that's how I really started the journey. So it was really Mike Snaden that really became sort of my mentor in the koi. I would have given it up hadn't been if I didn't connected with Mike. And then also what kept me in the hobby is when I moved house from that place, I hadn't built a pond here. So I had a clever plan, Lee, which was to send my missus to America for 2 weeks to see her sister. And while she's there, Welsh ladies, make sure they're happy. So I sent her to America and I digged a pond. So nice. I did it. She came back and she's like, what's that? And I said, maybe, like a hot tub or something. But I couldn't finish it. So bless their socks, Stephen and Anthony Gray kept me in a hobby because they came down, took the fish that I had in a vat in the back of the house, a blue vat, with just oxygen. And to be honest, I was ready to pack in. I was going to give them the koi and say, I'm done. But they said, no, we'll look after it. Build your pond, we'll help you, and we'll bring the fish back. And true to the word, the same year they did. They brought the fish back, and yeah. So they actually kept me in the hobby. So if you want to blame anybody, ultimately, be Stephen and Anthony Gray.
They've got a lot to answer for, mate.
Yes, they kept me in the hobby.
When I see them again, I'll tell you. You know what I mean?
Can I just ask another quick question? Because it'll probably be relevant for about the timeline. So obviously, there's one. I know you're good friends with the Greys because of what happened, but there is a particular Welsh person that you're always joined to the hip to. When did you meet Ian Jenkins? And how did it happen?
Ian is my best koi buddy in the world.
That's right. This is it.
Yeah, Batman and Robin. I say I'm Batman, he's Robin, but he then tells me, yeah, but Batman always drives and you never drive. You just sit in the car. So he said he's Batman. When did I meet Ian? I feels like I know him ever. I mean, he's like, Yeah, when did I meet Ian? You know, I have Ian. If Ian's on this, he might be watching. Maybe
He
he
is
might
watching.
remember. Yeah, so
maybe
maybe
through Mike Snedden again, was it? Maybe you just bumped into him there, I guess.
possibly I met him through Mike Snedden. Yeah, same
Was
group
it
of
at the
friends.
show?
Could be from the show, but like, yeah, I mean, Ian and I, yeah, I mean, like, we talk almost every couple of days. He's like the brother from another mother, you know. I was always meant to connect to Welsh people. Obviously, I married a Welsh lady. Ian's Welsh. All my half of my family's Welsh. Lee is Welsh. You know, God lives in Wales and Trinidad, so we know that. So,
Hang on,
yeah.
look
So
at
Trinidad's his holiday home.
yes. So I can't remember the year I met Ian and Carmen, but I'm sure it might have been I met them at Mike's place in Portishead in Bristol. I would guess so. Either that or a Koi show, but I imagine in that way. Of course, we've been to Japan together and stuff like that. So,
Yeah. Okay.
yeah.
So over the years, Chip, we all, I mean, before we do that, I've just got to bring this up because Dave's just written in Koi. He says, "Good evening, guys. Welcome to the Koi Show Live. Chip, wish I could be part of it tonight." And again, he sends his apologies, mate. So, you know,
tight lines, Dave.
But timing.
He'd rather be spomming, cuddling with Kate in a bivvy.
Well, I tell you what, mate. She's been wrestling more than one rod all weekend, mate. I tell you
That's
that.
good. That's good.
I've got pictures. I might show a few a bit later. But back to what we're doing. We all make mistakes, Chip, along the route. Okay. Something happens, we kill koi, or you know, we're underfiltered, or we overstock, or we buy the wrong fish, blah blah blah. Okay. What mistakes did you make early on that you tell a newer hobbyist to avoid?
Dude, I made so many mistakes. I honestly, some things I knew because obviously, like having a fish background, but you know, discus tropical fish is a total different thing to koi. You know, different world. I mean, discus is harder to keep, I must say. But some of the mistakes I made was probably doing things too quickly and quickly to put chemicals in the pond and not
that is a good one.
yeah, not also buying fish from other hobbyists and put it straight in the pond with your fish, and then 3 days later you're dealing with problems and you're throwing chemicals in. And back then we didn't have Facebook and things. Sounds like I was just off the boat with Noah, but it was it was it was there was something called Koi Mag Forum. Do you remember the Koi Mag Forum?
Yeah, man. There was a few of them.
Yeah, so the Koi Mag Forum, I was a part of that. And back then, the guys used to kind of like take a joy in taking a mick of you and kind of slating you. I don't know if you remember that vibe. So it's almost like
but there was shit. There was shit advice on there as there is on Facebook
yeah,
and YouTube.
yeah, but they were kind of like take fun and like poking fun at you. So they wouldn't try to help you. They try to like display you as like the absolute idiot and you know things like that. So
I think you make a very valid and probably overlooked one. I mean, there's many a times, and you'll come across it, Lee, as your dealer journey progresses. There's many a time where people come into the store after trying everything and saying, I can't get on top of this problem. When actually, a lot of the problem is the fact that they're going from one chemical to another, to another, to another, to another, to another. And there's just no respite. And sometimes you're quite right, Chip. It's people can act a little bit too quick by throwing a chemical in the water. You know, most koi are hardy enough to deal with a few parasites. It's when the parasite takes hold that you have to hit it. But I understand that people try and do the right thing, but quite often it's sometimes just a shit fish that causes the problems constantly.
Well,
and at that point, you have to make a decision.
I think one thing that really helped me is the moment I started heating my pond made a difference. And the moment I started to trickle in made a difference. And the what? Yeah, and then the other thing that helped me, believe it or not, is when I first went to Japan, because then I realized I panic about stuff that the Japanese don't even care about. And once you start running, I mean, you boys have been to Japan. Once you start going to Japan, and especially like I've only been South Japan, right? I've not been Niigata area. But health and safety would have a field day in some of them koi houses. One koi house I was in, there was an electric cable from one koi house. The cable went in the water of another pond and came out the other side and plugged in. That would just be absolutely crazy. So, and I realized then the stuff, I was kind of like, if my fish only flicked back then, this is the early days, if they only flick, get them out, doing a scrape, checking. Now I don't really, you come to the point where you realize that sometimes, like I was saying to a hobbyist recently, just because you itch your head don't mean you have lice. It's a kind of the same kind of thing. A fish will flick, a fish will barrel roll. They're not bouncing off the walls, things like that. Then it's fine. So I think for me, retro looking back, what made a difference was heating the pond, not to high temperatures, but keeping it stable in heat. Trickling help, because just that little bit of water in and out, I noticed the fish responded well. And then from there, I began to fine tune fish keeping, where I got into RO and things like that, and feeding the right amount of food and things like that. That's where I kind of like took it to the next stage.
Right, whereabouts in the world you reside in? Don't tell people your actual address, obviously, but whereabouts in the world?
In the United Kingdom, in the city of Leicester. In the city of Leicester.
So, water supplier,
Severn Trent.
Severn Trent. So, again, advice is don't just follow Chip's journey, because different water sources have different qualities. Lee's water is superb because it's Welsh, from God's country, as everyone's writing in the comments. Scottish water, absolutely phenomenal. Midlands water, dog crap. Fact. Good KH, but unless you chip and you start looking at things. Which brings me on to this, right? So my eye has changed from when I started, 15 years ago. More importantly, from going to Japan, that's when your real eye changes. Your eyes changed, Lee, since you started, right?
Yeah, 100%.
What about you, Chip? How has your eye changed over the years?
I tell you what helped me is showing koi. I first showed a koi in 2012. First time I went to a koi show, I panicked. It was the most stressful thing I ever did. But it was the first time I showed, and I won a major. First time out of the bat, boom. With a fish, this was called the East Midlands Winter Koi Show, I think it was. I still have the little thing there. Oh, hang on. Was it? Anyhow, I won a trophy. I can't remember what it was. But that was an Okawa fish that I bought from Mike. And that I really got, because of my makeup, I'm kind of like, if I'm into something, I'm all in. So like fly fishing, I wanted to win the world championships and fish for Rutland, and I fish for Marlin. I mean, you've seen some pictures, right? And
I'll bring some up in a minute.
Yeah. So anything I do, I'm kind of like all in. I can't do it halfway. I'm either all in or not. Like I said to people, you can't be slightly pregnant. Either you're pregnant or you're not. So if you're in the showing or in koi keeping, I wanted to do it to the best of the ability that I could do. So for me, my eye changed when I started showing, which was 2012. Was the first time I ever put fish in a bag, oxygenate it, take it, put it in the boot of the car, and it was in the race course place it was held in, down this way in Burton on Trent. There's a race course place. Oh, Utoxeter race course. That's the first place I actually showed, was back then, and that kind of helped change my eyes, and kind of like working with Mike Snaden, seeing his fish and talking to him, that really kind of start tuning my eyes into what proper koi looks like as opposed to just cheaper koi that, and I understand people has budget, and often I look back and I say to people, I'm glad I learned the way I did because I made mistakes with the cheaper koi. I know they're all lives, right? But I rather an Israeli fish die in my hands than my 2 million yen Japanese Yatsuri, you know. So that's when it began to change. Oh yeah, that was a beast. That was this year in March on a fly in Tobago.
On a fly, on the big. That's hardly a fly, man. That's
Yeah,
more
well,
like
it's
a
a fly.
bird.
It's meant to look like a flying fish. So we actually raised that in Tobago. The guy asked me. He said, "What time is your flight?" I said, "I got to be back at shore in 1 hour because we raised two, and I fumbled the two with the cast because you switch the boat into neutral and you cast. You don't troll the fly." And then we were packing up, and no word of a lie. We had 5 minutes, and I was already hearing the fat lady sing. And I was thought this is over. And he screamed, fish on the teaser, boat in neutral. And by some miracle, I made the cast. Miracle. The fly land right in front of his face. It turned and grabbed it, and it ran 230 yards in one run, and
How long did it take you to get in, mate?
45 minutes to an hour. But we circled it with the boat, right? So we had to bring it. So it's not like the boat was planted and you land it. You circle it and you bring that in. But that was caught on a 11 weight fly rod.
What about this one, Chip?
Oh, that's a 110-pound tarpon that's in Trinidad. Again, I was fishing there. I caught 4 that day on the fly, and they were fishing live bait as well. And the live bait didn't catch any, and the fly caught 4, which was incredible. But yeah, I had 4 of those. I tell you what, this is part of the reason I go to the gym, because these things, to fight those things, it's not like sitting, on a shore with a rod. You have to work. So these things would actually pull your string for 4 or 5 hours. Over my right shoulder there, you could see there's like a little island. That's actually a maximum security prison over there in Trinidad where they put you. And if they put you there, it's called Carrera Prison. To swim to mainland, it's something like, 300, 400 feet, but it's surrounded by hammerhead sharks, Lee. So
Nice.
to make the swim, you put your lives. I've seen hammerhead sharks there, like 1,000-pound hammerhead sharks. No, not hammerhead and tiger. They're all. I had one.
Tiger's no good. Yeah.
I had one took 110-pound tarpon and only left the head, and the gills were still moving in one bite.
Fresh food, mate. It's like sushi, isn't it?
Yeah.
What's this one, Chip?
So that's actually called a margate, and that's quite big for the fly. So I caught that off a little point in Trinidad. Behind there, there's a place where, have you heard of dragon fruit? I don't know if you've heard of dragon fruit. Starbucks do all these drinks with dragon fruit, and they have dragon fruit. And I saw it feeding on oysters, and I cast the fly one strip, and it grabbed it. The guide on the boat said to me, "It will never take a fly," and I love it when someone says it will never. And I said, "How much do you bet?" He said, "If you catch her, I'll give you 100 US." So first cast, bang, straight into it. He was 100 US.
Job's a good
100 US lighter. Yes. Yeah. Oh, that was a beast. Yeah.
I think that's my favorite one out of all of them, if I'm honest.
Yeah, that's a Jack Traval, which is quite a big one for that size.
That's a very powerful fish, man.
That took me an hour and 40 minutes to land. And it ran me around the boat like crazy. I mean, look at the size of the tail to my upper body, and you would see.
Everything about that fish is streamlined, mate. His tail's all like, there's so much fin in the tail end, big rudder, and even its pecs are streamlined.
Yeah, they're a bit like the GT in that way. Yeah. But that's a big one. I've caught them smaller in the fly, like 20-pound and stuff, but that one was absolutely a monster. I thought it was a tarpon because some tarpon don't jump, right? They're so big, they'll just stay in. And I thought that was a tarpon. When I saw it was yellow jack, I was shocked out of my head. But yeah, I love fishing, man. Fishing is my thing, like fly fishing mainly. But I mean, I'm not a snub. I catch a fish anyhow.
I think that it sort of goes hand in hand with what our hobby is, mate. I think if you're a dealer, if you're balls deep into koi, or any sort of fish keeping, you've got to be a fish person.
Yeah.
You know, it's not just a tank or a pond. It generally goes a little bit further than that.
Yeah.
In my opinion. But
yeah, I love my fishing. I mean, Lee would know I was in close to his neck of the woods about 3 weeks ago. And every day I was out fishing. Every day I was on that beach. Didn't catch a thing though, but every day I was on the beach.
I do you know what? I've been out in the last couple of weeks. I've only been out about 3 times, and I've hit the tides really times where I thought it's going to be hard not to catch here. But yeah, nothing. It's crazy. It's been really slow this year.
But I still enjoyed it. I still like being out of the lake and out of the sea and the estuary.
It's fishing, fishing, not catching.
Yeah, exactly. That's my excuse, anyways.
Well, fishing is different to catching.
100%. Yeah. Yes.
100%. But right, I'm just going to interrupt our flow.
Okay.
I received this today. So this is from one of our viewers. I would like people in the comments to comment who they think this person is. He was patiently waiting for the show. So, and then if anyone gets it, I'll share some of it.
Look at the state of those toes. Is that a clue?
Bring it back up. Rat claws, mate. Rat claws. He'll be blushing now.
He's got hobbit feet. It must be from Wales, Lee.
Must be. He definitely walks to work with no shoes on.
Hang on. Someone said it's Dave. You're incorrect. Just thought I'd say it's
not. No, because Dave hasn't got a tattoo. Yeah. I know that.
Yeah.
Ah, that's true, actually. Yeah, you're right. That's because he's a wuss. I'm just going to bring a couple of pictures up from Dave if I can remember not to push the wrong button. Let's bring this up because it's part of our team. Downloads. He says, although he can't be here with us, he is actually supporting the T-shirt. On the side of the bank in France. He looks younger than all of us put together. And to be perfectly honest, Dave, you're looking pretty cool there. What do you reckon to his rods and reels, mate?
Let's have a little look. What's he got? Delcoms. Oh, yeah, mate. He's got the old Techniums. Yeah, he's doing all right there.
So I'm just going to try and find. Look at this, mate. I know it's not koi, right? But it's related. It's fish, right? Check this out.
Oh, grass carp.
Monstrous grass carp, man.
They kind of look like a little bit like a mullet, their head, don't they?
They do look a lot like a mullet, yeah.
Do they fight?
They do. Yeah, I think
they're quite big jumpers, aren't they?
I think they're not a very good fight until they get on the bloody bank and then they go bonkers.
Do they eat just the weed and stuff, or would they take?
They'll take like anything, mate. Yeah, they're just like they're pigs. They don't have anything.
I mean, they are known. They are known to eat a lot of weed in a koi pond. However, if you've got string algae, the word is you put a grass carp in, it will eat 3 times its body weight until it starts eating your sake.
We should send 2 or 3 up for.
It just relies on your sake, right?
We should send 2 or 3 up for Paul Williams. That'll sort his pond out. Bless him.
He's in the comments actually.
Yeah.
Funny enough,
I'll tell you something, mate. Kate ain't getting away with it either. She has had a stonking. That's Kate's fish. She caught that.
Oh, well done, girl.
And then she got a bucket of water in the face because it was a PB.
Look at that. That is absolutely beautiful. And the fish is quite nice.
Not bad either, is it?
Bless her.
I'll be getting loads of messages now. Right, let's get back to what we was discussing. But just thought I'd show that. Right then. the GC chip.
Yes.
Right. So I remember on the Friday, we walked over to your vat, and I think my words to you, and correct me if I'm wrong, I said, it's got to be a fucking special fish to beat that chip. You have got a massive chance for that fish. Correct or not?
Yes. Well, to be honest, a lot of people said it to me, but Ian would know this, Jenkins, my koi buddy. I am the most critical person with my own fish on the planet. I wasn't going to bring it. I have two other options I could have brought because I can see things that I think, oh, it's not quite there. The body's not ready. Things are not working out, But yeah, when it went in, to be fair, she looked in better condition. I could have brought her last year, but I decided to sit on my hands. I think that's a carp fishing term, isn't it? I decided to sit on my hands and give her one more year, which is risky, as you know, because a fish may not live one more year, or it might flash and rip its sides off. You know what? Koi can go to 99% of the way, and then the last hurdle they fail. I've had many fish blow its swim bladder at 90 cm, and I couldn't take it to the show. So, but I sat on this one and I brought her. And yeah, on that Friday, I had a lot of people coming because I worked hard on conditioning with the coils. If you kind of notice on mines, I really work on the skin and getting the white, super white on them and the colors. I worked really from end of March. I started a regime to get it to the condition it was in there. In fact, there was two other fish I could have brought, and I left them back because because of the weather, I didn't want to overload the vat or put too close. So I decided less is more, and yeah, I brought her. So yeah, took some doing, but yeah, it did happen.
When did it all start with that GC chip?
When did I purchase her?
Yeah.
So Mike, when he moved to Japan, if you follow, when I say Mike, Mike's Naden, I mean Yumikoi Mike. When he moved to Japan, he went over to Taniguchi's farm. You could see this on his YouTube channel, and Taniguchi-san is selecting some little, like what I would call live bait size fish, and Mike was selecting, and I lived and dreamed everything Mike produced and what have you. When I'm flying in a plane for 8-10 hours, I keep rewatching videos and reading magazines and things like that. That fish I grew from tiny. Anyhow, yeah. That fish I grew from. Anyhow, we'll go back to that. It's an interesting fish. So that Mike had bought 5 of them, and I bothered him. Mike would tell you I pestered him for coin because often I'm in a different part of the world. My timing with his is good. While the UK is sleeping, he would post a fish, and I'd be the first to see it before the UK see it. So often I would snipe, as Lee would say, a fish before the rest of the UK seen it. So that fish, he said he kind of kept it. I was talking to him about it recently. He said it was meant to go out to the mud, but he wanted to concrete raise it with the other 5. Couple turned out males, and one had a damaged mouth. And this was the only one. And he kept it in his facility till Nisai, and which I had purchased when he had bought them when they were tiny. And at Nisai, I decided to ship it to the UK. So it came to me. Probably I look back and I found some pictures, and it would have been like 55, 54. Taniguchi fishes at Nisai, they're not huge fish. They're not like today you see Nisai at 62, or Sakai, you could see them at 70. But that's when that journey started with that fish. But since then, it's been in my pond for all those years growing on.
I'm just getting the image up, so bear with me.
Okay, sure.
So what was it? Yonsai at the show?
At the show now, it's now in its 5th season. Yeah, okay. In its 5th season. Yeah, there she is. Yeah. So she's in her 5th season. Liam did an incredible job to take a picture. I think whatever they pay in Liam, they need to double it. But he did a fantastic job in
So
taking that picture.
Taniguchi Koi Farm Sankei.
Yeah.
82 cm, purchased through Mike Sned and Yumi Koi Japan.
Yeah.
Before I say anything more, credit goes out to Liam Best, World of Nishikigoi, who has given me permission to use the photographs for tonight. If you haven't already done so, go over to his website, have a look. If you haven't seen his magazines, they're fantastic. As part of his agreement for me to use his photographs, I said I'll give his little, or not his little, his big magazine, his book, a plug. It's a very good read and very worth 15 quid, I think he's charging. It's worth more than that.
Yeah,
but
it's very
anyway,
good. Yeah.
Enough of that. Liam does a good job, but you win the GC. What turned your eye to this fish, Chip?
Well, I don't know if have you got the Tosai picture still?
Yeah, I have, mate. Let me just pull them up for you.
Can you put them side by side or just one at a time?
Just one at a time, mate.
Yeah, I have on my Instagram. Oh, that's a good way to plug your Instagram, Lee, isn't it?
Oh, I have. I can do it this way, actually.
Yeah. I have a 3-step picture where it shows the each year. There you go. That's the Instagram. Yeah. So when I saw that fish in that very first picture, if you notice where that fish is with the benny itself, the benny just remained as it is, just tightened and sharpened, as it were. The sumi, to me, though, kind of did it because I personally don't like sumi on benny. I prefer it on the white ground, which is subo sumi.
Subo sumi, yeah.
Yeah. So for me, and then also what I liked about this fish was a transition from Tozai to Nisai, the head to the shoulder was quite smooth. It wasn't like a hump coming up, because sometimes where they have a hump, they can be flat behind the head, between the eyes. It's kind of like a spade. And breeders generally don't like that. And when I see it, you can see it if you got a window pond. You could look at your fish swimming by and you'd see some, like I'm sure Lee could see them in his, where they're a little bit, either they're nice transition or they're flat between the eyes. When they're flat between the eyes, they will still grow, but they'll have like a spade head. And breeders tend to not like them. And to me, this fish had a strong body for a Sankey. Like I would say personally, right, I probably own more Sankey now than Kahaku, but it's easy to get a decent Kahaku. It's very difficult to get a good Sankey. If you see a good Sankey, I buy it straight away because they're so hard and difficult to get a good one. And I've got a few, especially Tamura Sankey in Japan. I've got a couple, well, more than a couple, but my wife might be watching this. So I've got a couple in Japan of Tamura Sankey. But this I really like because of the transition, the body. If you look at the body from the Tosai all the way to the finished product, you could see where the body was going.
Do you know what? Looking at the Tosai picture, isn't it amazing how much that sumi has come up on the right-hand side, halfway down the fish? It's not there, and then boom. It's the blackest bit of sumi on the whole fish as well. Sumi is incredible, isn't it? It's almost like fungal spore, isn't it? As soon as it gets planted, then it just boom, just pops.
Well, it kind of makes up for areas in a fish there where it could be lonely as well. The sumi comes in and then all of a sudden it fills in an area. In Japan, if the sumi is like quality sumi, it's expensive. It's not cheap. There's sumi and there's sumi. Trust me, there's like quality sumi and there's just sumi. And when you see quality sumi, the breeders tend to charge a lot for it. And this to me, wintertime, she looks better, obviously, as you know, sumi in warm weather. But talking to, Kotaro was there, Kotaro Sakai. He really liked it. He was, and especially the 2 little dots of sumi on the shoulders. He's like, oh, it's so cute. I want to take it home. It's like a Pikachu. That's what he said.
What I like about this koi, not just the picture that we're looking at, it goes against so much that hobbyists don't want when they're picking a koi in a pattern. So, number one, it's got a red eye. Right? So many people will be turned off of this fish because of a red eye. Right? And I'm really glad that it took GC for that purpose, because I think that reinstates when we say it doesn't matter about red eye, It doesn't
really
matter about red eye.
It really doesn't. I don't think so. No.
You know,
well, in this case, the red eye kind of is in the right place if you're going to have one red eye.
And
if it was on the other opposite side, it might stand out more. But because it's on the side where the Benny is leaning to, it kind of helps the cause. Maybe that's a bit of a wishful thinking, but I think
no, it does, mate. A placement of color on the fish is super important, isn't it? Because like koi, every koi has got a different fingerprint. It's like not one koi is ever the same. Not even a single color koi is ever the same because the scalation is different. Yeah, and that is one thing for me. You're right, Chip. If that red eye was on the opposite side, it would look odd.
Yeah,
because when you follow the color, there's a natural progression through that fish that actually it suits it. Yeah. If that red eye wasn't there, it would change the dynamics of that fish all over again.
Yeah, I think so. One of the things I did do is I did go in heavy on a color food early in the season. And I tend to feed color food at 18 Celsius because the fish digestion is low, so the color food remains in the system longer. If you feed color food at a higher temperature, it's in and out the fish quickly. So you have to feed more of it for it to have an impact. At 18 degrees or 19, it's the best time to feed color food with a bit of like balance or FD buildup I use, because the color food then helps enhance. Now, color food just polishes the Benny that's already there, and you know, I've got polycarbonate roof. I think, Lee, you have polycarbonate as well. And you do need some assistance. If you think, no, I've heard hobbyists say, well, if it's a quality koi, you don't need to feed color food. That's not really true.
Yeah.
All the Japanese feed color food, you know, it's just part of their regime. You know, you got to prop that color up and have it looking like blinging. And I really worked on the color food. What I believe helped this koi, the color food I used was FD color on this and FD buildup. And it really, I noticed the FD buildup really helped with the body propensity on this koi. Because it eats like a chagoi. It will eat from your hand. This fish, it don't know it's a Sankey. It's just, it'll come up and be the first one to take the food. So, you know, having a fish that wants to eat is a good thing.
Has this fish got tejame in its left pec as we're looking at it right hand side?
It did, and it faded out in the summer. I think it might be, I'll have to look, but it might have it back in the winter. It does. I think if you look in like what we call in Showa Motoguru, it kind of tucks in a bit there. But it only
into the knuckle.
But they only have it on one side. The kind of taste has changed on that over the years. Back in the day, early time of koi, like if you read Peter Waddington's book, they used to like 2 on one side, 3 on the other. But that sort of taste in Sankey has changed, evolved, you know. I think as fish breeding has evolved and changed, even the way Japanese judges and appreciating koi has changed a little bit. So now the tejime thing used to be like, put it this way, if the Japanese have it, they love it. If they don't have it, they look at the big picture in that way.
So the reason why I point it out is because I want to come back to the Tozai, Chip.
Okay.
Right? Because as a Tozai, most people would walk away from that as a Sankey for a red eye, no tejime showing at all in the fin, and the sumi balance is one-sided. Okay, and I'm not ripping the fish apart. I'm being realistic based on my relationships with customers. They would walk away from that without having the trust in the progression and the development of the fish. So my question is, did you generally think when you bought it, it had GC potential, or did that become more apparent later?
When I bought it, so that you can see this middle picture, that's when I got it. I think there I had chance of like young champion, adult champion. I don't get visions of grandeur that one day I'm going to be walking down the red carpet, you know, with Snoop Dogg playing in the background and me rolling in. It ain't going to happen. So, but I did think it had potential to maybe take young champion or some a major. I think it had, because of the quality of sumi there. If you notice, was really inky, and the placement of the sumi was really good in that way. So for me, a fish like that, Crafty, I've bought before. But one of the fish you put up earlier, and you said it was the wrong fish. I bought that fish in the UK at like 12 cm because I saw it. That fish, yeah. So I bought that at 12 cm from Absolute Koi, Sakai Company, from his pond with maybe 300. There's a little video of me selecting it. In fact, I bought one, and Darren, he wouldn't mind me saying this, well, I'll say it anyways, but he put one in and his failed. It became Shiramuji, and mine remained. This fish, I actually grew it to 87, 88 cm. And the body, the Benny was there. The sumi never really consolidated, so I sold it. Because going back to my initial saying,
do you know who you sold it to, and did you see it afterwards?
Yeah. He said it's close to 90 now. Yeah.
Have you seen if the sumi's moved anything in his
No,
pond?
the sumi is still the same.
Still the same.
Yeah.
I mean, I ask because I know that fish will change what they do in different people's ponds.
Yeah, 100%. Some fish would not settle in your pond, and you move it to another pond, and it's happy in there. Same, yeah. But this fish is an example of like what you could find in the UK. So that, if you look at that, that's predominantly, would you say 97, 98% Suba Sumi?
Yeah. But for me, this is Sankey overall for me. I mean, Lee, it's one of your favourite fish as well as mine.
It is my favourite, yeah.
Again, the sumi is... Go on, Lee.
No, carry on.
The sumi for me in Sankey, when selecting to bring back to the UK for sales, you've got to try and please as many customers as you can, because there's so many different tastes of what Sankey is. And for me, this is fairly heavy in sumi, but
yeah,
there's a lot of black on white, which is your Subo sumi.
I have the Tozai video of that, and if you see the Tozai video of that, it's exactly where it is, except you can't see any white. I could see where the progression was going, and this fish was under 100 quid.
And then it ate about 900,000 pounds worth of fish food, and then you sold it on because it didn't do what you wanted it to.
Well, you see, going back to my original saying, I am would I say critical with my own koi. So if a koi is not really matching to the right beat, I would sell it. I would move it on and put somebody else in. So sometimes I've lost out. So like when I'm selling a fish, it's not because, I think it's useless or it's not going to work. Is I think that fish needs to go somewhere else. I have something else that I want to take its place. So sometimes my loss is somebody else's gain. I've sold fish. Ian wouldn't mind me saying this, but actually Ian bought this fish because I was moving house. But his Okawa that won GC was one of my fish, but he had it for 2 years. You bought that at
Tozai, right? Am I right in saying that?
I bought that, yes, from Yumikoi, Japan, from Bristol. Yeah. And that fish won. I tell you what that fish won. This is Ian's fish.
Hang on. Let me see if my facts are right. Baby, young.
No, it didn't win baby. It won young champion.
I thought that went through the ranks. Baby, young, adult, mature, GC.
Yeah, so it won everything but baby.
Everything but baby. And that in itself is an accolade. I mean, the thing is, you want to take it from Tozai, win every major all the way through to GC, because that is a true spectacular koi. To hold condition and be show ready at every level is nigh on impossible, to be perfectly frank.
It is so many things could go wrong with a fish, it's just like I said, I had an Okawa that I had to put to sleep last year, and that was nearing 90 cm perfection, skin perfection, Benny. It just had sinking disease, and it just was heartbreaking, and I had to put it out as misery, I tried everything, but it's like it got 90%, 99% there, and it just, the last hurdle, it failed, I was tempted to put it in a vat and tie a string to it and tow it round a bit, and see if it made a difference.
The thing is, though, Chip, I often, speaking to people, I often have to remind them that a koi is a living creature, just like humans. They have illnesses at different times in their life. They can't be healthy forever, and sometimes you get one that you come down out to your pond, it'll be upside down for absolutely zero reason other than the big man upstairs has said time to come and see us.
Time is up. Yeah, the Japanese have a saying: "Many koi, many sorrow," and that's a true Japanese saying.
See,
I tell you what, it's a journey that you have to be ready for the long haul. There are some guys who could, I'm not like, I wouldn't, even if I could, would I do it? I'm not sure, but to go buy a ready-made fish, to stick it in a show, to walk away with a trophy, I like the journey of the fish, so I could talk to someone about the progression. And when I do finally take a prize with it, I feel like I've done something other than paid money. That's my feeling. In Japan, you can't. You have to pay money and leave it there. But
So going back now, obviously we're talking about the shows, and you've done well. What's your build-up regime to go to a show with your koi, Chip? Because there's a lot of people on here that are probably showing for the first time or thinking about showing their koi this year or next year. And a bit of advice from you how to condition fish will probably be, pretty good for them.
I remember asking when I was starting showing, rightly, asking a hobbyist who was a well-known showing hobbyist back then how to condition a fish. And his reply to me, do you know what his reply to me was? Pork scratchings and cider. In other words, I ain't telling you what I do.
Yeah, exactly. I think
everyone's like that. So my conditioning is more food-based and temperature-based. So I make sure that I condition the food ready, get the food in the fish early. Because you remember, you've got like 2 weeks where you're not going to feed them. And if the water is warm, big fish lose weight quickly. Unlike me and whoever.
Or me. We're in the same boat, mate. Don't worry about that.
Yeah, big fish can lose weight quickly. So you almost got to be on the ball and you got to be kind of like scientific in your conditioning, like have programs set in place. I write everything down. I've got a whiteboard in my koi house, and I write down what I'm doing from salt to everything. I write down because I forget so quickly. When you reach this age of 38, your brain has lost its sharpness, so it's not as quick as it is. So I have to write everything down. But my conditioning regime starts like 3 months before the show date has really begun. That's when I start. Probably now, I guess next year the show is in May, right? In the May the National. So it'll probably start now in February. So everything will come forward by a month or so.
But you know what? It's probably going to be a bit easier to condition them in February, to start in February.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it will be color food. So like right now, I'm heavy in the color food, but because the water is so warm, I don't know about what temperature you had and temperatures in Wales, but my pond's right now at 25.8. That's just from the...
Yeah, mine's chilling at the moment. Yeah, but it would sit about 24, 25.
Yeah.
But, obviously the problem that a lot of people had in the National this year was the temperatures were skyrocketing. And if you haven't got an inverter to get that temperature down, which is kind of futile anyway, because you've got to raise it up again to go to the show, didn't you? It was hard this year for everyone to condition their koi, I would have thought, to be honest.
I mean, I don't have an inverter, so I had to do what I had to do, which was just hope that my early days of doing the work paid off at the end. It's a little bit like an army guy, right? If you boys are both army guys, if you put the work in early, it shows later on when you're in battle. So it's the same thing. So I kind of put the work in early. I write down, I take notes, I compare notes with myself. I don't have anyone else other than Dylan, but Dylan's more like a guitar maniac, rock and roll / guitar guy. So he does the koi for me, but kind of like as a good boy, rather than he's actually very good at male female checking koi as well. So he's really good at that. But yeah, writing down things, I would say, is a good regime, and then feeding the right food and the right amount of food. You had a young man on here that there's a a lot of times you could rubbish young guys, but you had a young guy here, and he's talked so much sense. I was really, really taken with him. The guy called Seabay from Holland.
Yeah.
And for a young guy, he talks a lot of koi sense. And if you look at him, how he raises fish and talk about fish, he's not just trying to sell a product. You can tell he's a thinker, and he's trying to work it in. And sometimes people could get a little bit proud about I take advice from people who I know who has done the journey in that way. But Seabay to me is like for the young, newish koi guy, he's really good.
Seabay's got a skill that most of us wish we had. Is almost a natural with a photographic memory and able to put the links in the places where we would miss. He's able to put them little stepping stones in place.
Well, I mean, how old is he?
26, I think, isn't he? Is he 27?
Yeah, I mean, that's unusual for a 26-year-old on koi
He's
world.
got an exceptionally good business brain as well.
Yeah. But I've been very impressed with him.
He'll be on the show again, Chip.
Yeah, he's messaged me because we talked at the show. He really liked the GC. He said he picked it when he saw it first walked into the show. He really liked it. So I think he's pretty cool. A young Mike's name. No, Mike's name's a white boy. There's no way. He's a Bristolian.
Yeah, I don't know. Seabay and Mike has both got strange accents, to be honest.
Yeah, who reminds me of Mike is Chris Giles. Chris Giles is very much the same, laid back, half asleep. Are you awake? Are you listening? Are you going to ring me back like Mike?
He is. Yeah, Chris is very much that sort of person. Actually,
he's very artistic.
Just chill out, mate. Just chill out.
He sent me. He sent me a picture of him with a pint this morning about 9 o'clock in the morning in the airport on the way to Holland.
Oh, did he?
Why did you go to Holland?
But then
myself?
Well, you was going to Holland, Lee.
I was going to, mate, but you know what? I got a lot of people over there saying, when are you coming? When are you going? Where are you staying? Do you know what? Show last weekend. I've got Koi Over Heaven next weekend. I make the boys off school. Like I can't. I can't, mate. I'm gonna take him up the Brackens this weekend and stuff. I just can't do it to him. I have to stay home and be dad.
Yeah. And I tell you what, I mean, Crafty would know this, but they go with my two lads, they go from little boys like your boy in an instant. You're taking them to university and pick. They're
left home and join the army, mate, before you know.
Yeah.
That was the best day of my life. If you watch the boy.
Yeah, in Trinidad, the army was a catapult and chasing mango and eating fish off the beach.
Nice.
So Japan, Chip, you've been all over all over the south in Japan.
Yeah.
Let me ask you a question.
Mm-hmm.
Who's your favourite breeder?
The one who has the best prices and the best fish.
Best fish, not money aside. Who produces for you the best fish?
Sakai Company, for me, very good. I like Sakai Company. Yeah, Sakai Company, because they're brothers of Sakai, Kentaro, and he's very good. Motoharu-san, who owns it, he's a bit quirky, but he's got to know me really well. So Sakai Company, I love to go in. Matsue spent a lot of money on their parent stock and Dainichi blood, and I have a couple of Matsues that I bought. That, in fact, the fish that won Shinkokai last year is a Matsue fish, but that's Dainichi parent as well.
That was the Kahaku, correct?
That was the Kahaku. Let me put this light on because I'm so tan. It's getting dark. At one point, you're only going to see my teeth. So let me put the light on.
I'm hopefully going to be able to pick out the right fish.
That's all right. We can.
So many bloody pictures, but I believe.
There you go. You can see me now. Where's Lee? Oh, he's gone. Okay.
I believe it was.
Yes. One. So that fish I bought at Nisai. It was in a pond, and we walked over the pond. Takahiro said to us, "Right, pick the fish you want." My staff would bowl it, and when I saw this fish, I had to have it. So I bought it and I left it with him for 2 seasons, because the first season I left it, he then wanted it to go to the Tokyo Koi show, which is the All Japan. So it's been to the All Japan twice. And it got placed at the All Japan. It got those little trophy somewhere. It's got those little trophies from the All Japan with that fish. So, and then it came to the UK. I quarantined it, did what I did, and it won the Shinkokai Award. This year it was at the show, but just before the judging, obviously a lot of fish had dropped eggs, and she had dropped its eggs. It's kind of like something I try to educate people on, and I don't know if you watch my latest video. Is I even had someone who was like a senior person was surprised that females could just drop eggs. I had to explain to them they don't need a male, they just need a temperature swing, and the females will drop the eggs, and they would help each other out, so it would look like they're spawning, but they're actually just dropping eggs.
Do you know, that happened last year, didn't it? Was it last year or the year before? We had 3 females and they all spawned each other.
Yeah, yeah.
I know
So
somebody that took eggs out of your vat.
Yes. And I told the guy, I said, the eggs, they're going to be unfertile. And he said, well, no, it has to be because they're spawning. There must be a male. I said, there's not a male. And even this year, someone, I mean, this is a koi person. They said to me, oh, so is the Taniguchi a male? I said, no, 100% female. And they said, oh, but it was rubbing up against the kahaku. So it must be. I said, well, she dropped a bag full of eggs. So unless, so females do that. They can actually just drop eggs on temperature change. Yeah.
This is a better photo because you really capture this.
You can see the body.
The penny, mate. It's absolutely
you can see,
superb, mate.
That's before the eggs.
What size was this one, Chip?
Sorry?
What size is this one?
I believe it's close to 80 now. It's kind of different because their national bowl is kind of interesting, or at least one of their bowls, because I don't know if Lee had this when he was showing, but some of the bowls come in a little bit smaller than my bowls.
Yeah, I know, mate. I know. So, it is a bit better. But how striking is that clean dorsal fin running down that big 3-step pattern? Yeah. Yeah. If it wasn't for that white dorsal, I don't think that would be the fish it is. It's really makes it, doesn't it?
Yeah, and actually because she dropped the eggs at the national this year, that fish and the GC is eaten like no tomorrow, and they're absolutely huge, right? You might pick it up on my video I dropped yesterday, but that fish is dropping eggs like crazy. So that fish, if you go above that fish, Crafty, the one above it,
this one?
Yeah, that's the one I bought. Oh, yeah. So that fish is also a Matsue that I bought. That one at the WNC show in Hiroshima, November. The showdown. And Mike actually sent me a video of it, and he said it's looking fantastic. Mike had that from Tozai, so he actually grew that from Tozai, and I believe now it's close to 80 cm. I bought it two years ago.
I just had a brainwave and I thought to myself, you know what? You've sent me so many bloody fish. I'm going to put it onto preview. So just Kahaku alone, 27 pictures, Chip.
Just Kahaku. That's how many oh, wow.
Right. This fish for me.
Takigawa.
Right. Pattern. Absolutely beautiful. Yeah. For me, it's got like pattern wise. Superb.
Takigawa, this fish is very good. I think I grew to 82, 83 cm, but it never really got a full body in the end. Yeah. So in the end, I matched it on. And by the way, some people, I know I've had comments about, oh, you sell fish, but I can't keep them all. I can't, unless you have a good recipe for sushi for koi or barbecue, I've got to move them on, So hobbyists got to move fish on to make room for other fish, So
I agree.
Yeah.
This one, Chip, where was that one from?
So that's Matsue. That's one of the WNC show, which Mike says he's hoping to take again to either the Hiroshima Koi show, Breeders' Koi show in October-ish, I think, end of October, and then also to the WNC. He may also take it to the All Japan. because right now he said it's looking fantastic. The tail tube on that, or we would say tail wrist if it's salmon fishing, but it's absolutely like thick.
Oh, it's got a superb body structure, mate. Yeah, profile's good as well.
Yeah, it's nice.
I was about to ask you, do you have problems with Maxway fish in the UK with shimmies?
They used to, and that was a thing back in the day, but he's bred it out by bringing in new blood in. So I find like his new parents, especially the Dainichi. So you know the Shinkokai fish?
Yeah.
That has never had a shimmy, and I'm not just making it up. It has some marks on it because when I QT'd it, then I made the mistake of having a floating air stone in the QT, and it had bumped itself on the air stone. And someone thought, oh, the shimmies were removed. They won't. They were just, you know what I'm talking about, floating air stone and the swim and the
yeah.
Now I've changed that whole system, but that fish has never had a shimmy. The Benny just keeps getting stronger and stronger on it, and I reckon it's the Dainichi blood in there. It's really, really good.
I mean, it's top draw, Chip, irrespective of where it's from, mate. When the depth of the Benny, I'm hoping that people at home can see, but you can see how striking and rich. When you say deep Benny, you can see that it's just really powerful. There's nothing in there on the Benny plate that changes from the head through to the body, which is what we're looking for in really strong Benny anyway. I mean, and that fish just remains the same.
That fish, like I said, it scratched itself on the air stones, and within a few months, it had totally, you could not even tell. It had fully regenerated Benny on it.
It's definitely one to watch.
So
what about this one, mate? Give us a little bit of background on this one.
So this one was bought 2 years ago. Takigawa Hase, the young lad, I know him since his father is a legend. Old man Takigawa. He passed the farm to his son, and I said to him, when you have your own spawning, I'm going to buy the Kashira. Kashira is the number one, the big dog. And so when I went there 2 years ago, I believe, because I left it for one more season, I looked in the pond and I said, Hase-san, where's the Kashira? But he was with some local hobbyists. And he said, oh, over there. So I went and I looked, and I went and I took the net, and, there was like 50, 70 fish in there. And I pulled out that one and I said, is this it? And he goes, oh, Chip-san, that's the one, that's Kashira. So I bought it from him and left it there. That's a horrible picture, but the fish is actually striking. And I left it for one more season, only because I put Hase against Mike. Mike has another one I bought there that Mike is growing and Hase is growing. And whoever wins it, I'm going to give them 50,000 yen. So
why is that important to do? Let me just bring this down, because I think you've just hit onto something that I've got a good idea why you've done that, but in your head, why is that such a good move to place two people against each other in Japan?
Well, there's a couple of reasons. As a carry, it's if anything goes wrong, it's guaranteed for the first year, right? So it makes sense. Leave it with the breeder. If something's going to go wrong, at least you'll get a credit note or something. Second year, it's in your own hands. But it kind of gives the breeder a little bit of an incentive to push your fish and to do it better. And he was disappointed. He wanted it bigger, and he was so disappointed that it was a CM under his plan, because I actually have a Sankey of his in my pond that I would bring at the show one day. But that fish is only now coming into its fourth season, and it's 86, 87 cm. Momotaro parent Sankey from Takigawa. Smallest amount of sumi. You have to look for the sumi. You might have seen it on the video. It looks like splatter, but it's all on Suba sumi, but an absolutely tank of a koi. So he kind of saw me grow that fish, and he wants to challenge me to. He says to me, he kind of paid me a compliment. He says, you can grow fish, no doubt. But I want to see if I could do it better than you. So we kind of pipped each other and Mike in a little bit of a competition to see who can do the best with the fish.
So
Purely on size, purely on size.
Are Japanese breeders good at growing fish?
Yes, but because they tend to grow in mud ponds, most of them, except your Ueno-san grows in concrete indoors, and a couple others like Matsue will grow indoors as well. They're expensive stuff. They want to keep control, so they want to grow it indoors. Outdoors is subjected to temperature, bears, rain. The mud. Yeah,
water levels, feeding regimes.
Yeah, so the mud pond, it's not. You talk to Mike, he would tell you it's not. The mud pond is not magic. It's just magically cheap. It's cheap to grow fish. You don't have to pay for the heating. You pay one rental fee. You put the fish in there. You harvest the fish. You drain it. You lime. If you look at the Yumikoi mud pond challenge we've done, you'd see when we empty it, and then Mike will go and put lime over it, kill it. There's no life of there. It's void. You'll get shrimps and turtle for the following year, but they tend to just be a big pond that's heated to 25, 26 degrees by the warm temperature. So can Japanese breeders grow fish? Absolutely. That's what they do. But if the fish are going to the mud pond, it's always based on whether they had a good season or too much rain or something happens. Sometimes the fish don't eat the food. It all sinks to the bottom and they pile up like a big pile. And it wrecks the whole mud pond. So a breeder could be good, but a mud pond is such a challenging thing to get fish to grow in, especially older fish. Tozai to Nisai is kind of a little bit different to like going from Nisai to Sansai, Sansai to Yonsai. But they can grow fish.
2 to 3, 3 to 4 for those people that don't understand that terminology. So
yeah, and like Matsue. Also, I've got fish at Omosaku. They're bigger fish, more expensive fish will go in the concrete. The risk, they want to cut the risk down and control as much as they can. But obviously it's more expensive for them because they've got to heat it and staff it and change filters and waters. Where they've got mud ponds, they rent all over the area for fairly cheap money compared to a mud pond, in that way. So yeah, it is challenging growing fish,
So Paul Williams makes the statement, genetics also is a major factor in growth. And it's a major factor in quite a lot of things, to be perfectly honest. Growth is definitely one of the major factors.
You have to understand the parentage they're using and the bloodline and where that bloodline come from. But still, in the same of a spawning of a fish, you can get, like, say, me and you two buy 3 fish like that Taniguchi that won. They came with 5. You can grow those 3 fish and we all give 1 each, and we'll end up with 3 different size. And so absolutely. Yes, genetic plays a part, but the hands of the person and how they raise it makes a massive difference.
I'd agree with that as well.
So yes, genetics is the baseline, but it depends on what you do with the genetics. If you go to a pond, that fish goes to a pond that's unheated, or it's only at a certain temperature, and you only feed in by hand once. My feeder right now, they're being fed 12 times a day. There's close to 1 kilo of food going in there, and that's not just what I do. This is me talking to Mike, following what Mike does, his regime, talking to him, asking him questions. And Mike's not the best coming with information. With me, I gotta like drag it out of him, and then he would kind of like he's very Japanese in his thinking. Mike, he's a brilliant mind. Mike's Nathan, make no mistake, but he would kind of like get you to think on your own feet. His saying is, paddle your own canoe, So you have to learn to paddle that canoe, and he don't really give you compliments, but if he does, it's like, yeah, you've done well.
It's earned. So he follows very much. So people will know Alan Tate is my mentor. I've learned a huge amount through Alan, being one of my good friends. He has never given me the answers. Never. Because he's not somebody that thinks that he should share the amount of time that he has studied and learned what he does is points you in the direction. You ask a question, he'll throw a question back. And in very much the same way, paddle your own canoe. Yeah. You only get out of it what you put in, right, Chip? And then sometimes when you go back and you say, look what I've picked, look at what I choose, this is what I think this is. And he goes, you've hit the nail on the head, you've got it right. That's when you feel good about yourself, right? Because it's easy to take someone and go and practice. It's not as easy researching it, trialing it, erroring it, putting things into practice to come up with an objective, you know. And this is what I tell a lot of people. It's like, I do share certain aspects of my knowledge because it helps me sell fish. And that, however, it comes to a point where I say, you go and look at it now, because you've got to learn it your own way. Because if I sit here like you would, Chip, and like you would, Lee, and say, this is what I see, this is what I think, this is what I think, that only carries a certain amount of weight. And the person that listens to that will only take away 20-30% of what you've told them.
If that,
you know, and that's where people's own personal development comes into it. When you get balls deep into, and you start buying books, and you start reading into it, and then that Mike Snedden on his, I believe it's on Yumi Koi website, he's done a lot of papers on research, especially with the Matsue fish. Again, I stumbled across that just by researching Matsue Kahaku. And when you then start to look back at the history in them, you can then start to relate to what that fish becomes. And you can start then pick little bits of knowledge in and start realizing what the final package could be. You know,
I print off all of Mike's article back in the day when I first started. I printed out all of them and I put them in a binder folder. And when I'm flying to sitting there, 8-hour flight, I'm sitting there with a highlighter and I'm reading everything, reading, and I'll go back to Mike and I'll pester him. And you know, one of the first benefit I see wasn't so long ago. I mean, this was long ago, but I was in Matsue and I picked up a fish and I said to Takahiro Matsue, I said, oh, is this parent? And I named the parent and he looked at me, he goes, yes. How did you know? And I said, oh, I remember Mike had done it, and it blew his mind. He said even some Japanese wouldn't know this parent, but because it was an old parent bloodline, and the Benny was kind of like a pinky hue Benny to it, so it wasn't red Benny or yellow. Yeah, it had a pinky hue, and I knew the parent bloodline had this pinky hue in it. And I said to him, I said, this is by chance this parent, and then I got my kind of like thumbs up grasshopper.
It's a bloodline that begins with S. I can't remember off the top of my head what the bloodline is, but I do know what, because I remember reading exactly what you're referring to.
Yeah.
So start looking through it.
I mean, like one of the things Mike would say, going back to the genetics things, you can have all the things in the right place, but you've got to, that's just the baseline. You've got to then take that and do something with it. And like I said, if we take the 3 fish, 3 females, I give one to you, I give one to Lee, and we grow them, we'll end up with 3.
Who would end up with the best fish? Who would end up with a better audience? Right? Come on, let's see. Who would end up with the best fish out of all of us? I reckon I know who's going to win that. Clearly me.
100%. Because you use pond bombs. Lee and I don't use pond bombs. So that's your secret to madness.
Oh, mate, that's Lee's fault as well, Chip, to be fair.
So do people actually text you asking for a pond bomb?
Absolutely, mate. Probably at least at the start, probably 3 or 4 people a day.
Oh, that's brilliant.
Sort of
that's
down to like once or twice a week now, but it sticks every time someone buys a fish. You're going to throw a pom bomb in with
that. We'll have to make you a T-shirt. Tap me up for a free pom bomb.
Put a QR code in the back of it. Scan for a pom bomb.
When you come to learning, everyone's got a different style. I mean, I'm somebody that will look at data and facts and be able to sort of pull everything together and then relate that to what I see. Lee, you're more hands-on, right? You learn from what you do.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. As soon as you started that conversation, I was going to be like, I learned from my mistakes and my successes. Yeah.
Successes is when you pull that info across.
Exactly.
Right? But you pull it from many sources.
Yeah.
And then you put things into practice. And then what works for you
That's
stays,
right.
what doesn't work goes, right? So you're more of a hands-on sort of chap.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I'm a great advocate of learning from other people that's been in the hobby for a long time. Some things don't work for me because, like we were saying, we all live in different parts of the country, and what works for Chip might not work for me because I got softer water. It's koi keeping is a really difficult hobby, and sometimes local clubs are very good to have to be able to talk to people that's got a problem in your area, and do you know what I mean? It's more fitting for them to ask to give you a conclusion. But yeah, I mean, it's just simple things like Alan Tate after the first year of showing. Yeah, really good, but your fish have got no volume, so get rid of what you don't want. And then the next year, then they had loads of volume. Do you know what I mean? You've got to take advice from people who know more than you, haven't you?
100%.
You know,
yeah, 100%.
And it's the same as Chip. I can always remember with Chip, you know, I look at certain things and I go to, and you said this to me, Chip, about 3 or 4 times now, where you've pulled up my video and you've gone, yeah, when I say to myself, oh, that Benny is, hopefully that's going to separate. And you always say a receding Benny is not a good Benny.
Well, if it's splitting apart, it's falling apart. That's what
Mike, it's falling apart. And that clicks in my mind now.
Yeah,
you know,
so he
Chip
would
knows more about that than me.
Yeah, so this is one of the things he told us back at the Ian Jenkins, remember this, like, because we used to be at his place in Portishead, and we have great memories there. And I'll be like, oh, Mike, I hope this Dan would fall apart. Yes, Sensike. And I hope this would fall apart. And
special effects. No,
what else?
No budget spared here. Special effects. Sorry, Chip.
What I'd say to Mike is, I hope this Dan would probably separate a bit, so it'll become. And he says, well, if he said, I hope that don't happen, because if it's splitting apart, it's going to fall apart. And I remember it just hit me because that's stuck in me. And it's, if you raise Tozai all the way through, you see that the start of Benny beginning to disappear. Is that if that Dan splits, then that fish is going to go. You wanted to see it. You wanted to pull together. If it's strong Benny like that Matsue there, it will keep its line. It's not necessarily going to join, but you don't want it to split open to make another Dan because it's going to fall out.
That falls into that Tozai that I had at Yamaguchi that went out into the mud pond. It come out a completely different fish to a point where it wasn't even recognized. And when you looked at the 2 fish between Tozai going this eye, the Benny had just strengthened and actually grew into a little patches of it had filled in.
Yeah.
And it turned into an absolutely fabulous fish. I sold it back to him, Chip, because I wouldn't have had a customer for it, mate.
Right. Yeah.
It's like,
but it's interesting with Koi Journey because, it's so passionate. I'm kind of passionate about what I do. I'm not like, I don't just do it, I'm all in. I'm with drums, I'm with RO, I run soft water. Lee gets soft water for free. I have to pay to get soft water. I use more bicarb, probably buckets of bicarb to keep my cage where I want it. But when it all lines up together, it's quite emotional. So like I remember when they announced on the Saturday VAT4 has won the GC. I remember Lee had left your place and had bumped into Koi Water Band going up. And I thought, hang on, VAT4, that's my VAT. And still, because I hadn't clocked it, because even Kotaro Sakai fish, I mean, he's Sakai, right? He said, oh, this would be number 1. And you said it, Crafty, and 100 people. But, in the Koi shows, we all like big up each other. I'm like the most critical on my own stuff. So when they announced it, the GC's there, and then I went over and I saw my VAT, I wanted to burst into tears. It's like all the years of doing everything wrong, finally I did one thing right. and it's kind of hard to emotionally explain it, but it's not like, well, now you're this, but you realize that if you really keep working hard, you could achieve something from normal means. You don't have to be, buying millions and millions yen worth of koi. You can do it if you work hard, you stick to your regime, and you invest in the koi. It will pay back.
Are you allowed to tell us how much that fish cost that won the GC?
Yeah, it wasn't expensive. When I remember, well, I use that term. Maybe I shouldn't say it wasn't expensive, but I bought it really young. I would say when I bought it in Nisai, I was asking Mike, and Mike couldn't remember. It'd have been probably 3, 4, 5, something like that, grand, in that ballpark.
Oh, right, I was waiting for a yen. Okay, so
yeah,
that's an expensive tozai.
Yeah, well, it was his top grade tozai.
Absolutely,
It wasn't,
no, it's like, but there's
one
thing
with breeders.
That
with
is
breeders,
investment.
yeah.
That's
with
investment
breeders,
because you don't have to. That's risk.
Right, Crafty, you go first.
It's a risk at that price. You've got a lot of trust in the person that's selling you the fish, that's bred the fish. The advice from the dealer, i.e., being Mike, right? There's a lot of trust in there, and to put that amount of money into a fish, it can go horribly wrong very quickly. How many times have you done that sort of investment, Chip, into a fish, or less money or more money, and not had the results?
Oh, loads of time. It's just how it is. It's once you put that money there, you're not going to see it again. I'm not a dealer like you guys that you buy fish to make at least something, because you got to earn a living. For hobbyists, they got to understand, once you buy that fish, don't expect that money is going to come back. In fact, some of the greatest experience I've had with koi is koi that I bought dirt cheap, and it kind of like turned out really fantastic because it didn't owe me anything. I was like, wow, I wish they were all like this. But going back to the tozai pricing, if a tozai is really good with breeders, you'd pay the Nisai price. They would not sell it to your tozai price.
That's right.
It'll be the Nisai price. So you might say, how much you pay for that 15 cm fish? The breeder is not looking at 15 cm. He's looking at what this would be when he harvested, and he has everyone and their mother-in-law around the bowl looking and wanted to pull straws or wanted to buy it. So you will pay for the decent fish, the Nisai price, but still it's not guaranteed, right? I mean, it'll be guaranteed for 1 year as a carry if they keep it, but it's not guaranteed to turn out a GC
fish.
But if you look at it now, Crafty, in the price I say for argument's sake, it was 3.5, 4K. Let's just say that now. Would you look at the result now? Would you think that's a cheap investment, or that's a
absolutely? Mate, we've had this conversation a few times, mate. It's like, for me, now we're looking at taking people over to Japan in the very near future with a couple of competition winners got, right? They're getting a small pot of money to invest in a fish as part of the prize. Okay. For me, I say to people, put that money into an Azakari fish, because the breeder is not going to put shit into a mud pond, because that space is fairly sacred.
It's prime space, yeah.
Right. So when you're putting that money into a small fish and leaving it in the care of a breeder, I personally think they're getting the best chance in life. They're getting set up. And if they have the results that they've had in the past, not every time, because not every result is the best result, but more often than not, there is a better result. Bigger fish, better body, better skin, a more expensive koi if you was to buy it at that size. For me, what would your fish be worth now, irrespective of GC? Because that doesn't really make it any more expensive.
No.
The fish itself is super.
Well, in Japan, you go to Taniguchi and that fish was swimming around. You're
paying big bucks, aren't you?
Yeah, you want to buy, if you or Lee want to buy that to ship it back to the UK, for someone to buy it from you. You're talking about car money. That's the way. That's the way.
Yeah. To be fair, mate, though, even as a dealer, we wouldn't even do that.
Yeah.
It'd have to be somebody that wants to buy it in order for us to import it, right?
Mm. But going back to
that, hoping someone's going to buy it, because that just wouldn't happen.
I mean, but as a carrier, it's a big risk. I've put in fish, especially I remember one at Sakai Company, absolutely the best Sankey I've ever seen, and I've seen some Sankeys. The best one I've ever. The Subo Sumi was outrageous. You don't have a picture of this. In all the millions, I know I didn't send it to you because I was so disappointed. I deleted every picture of it because it went out for Azakari, and I went back on the plane. Lee, you know what it's like. I'm on the plane, 14 hours, and I'm pulling through all the pictures of the fish I need to see because you got 14 hours. You got to do something and sleep and eat. And I got there, and Mutaharu-san, or Takuya-san, who's his helper, came to me and said, "Oh, Chip-san, your fish didn't come up." And I was like, what do you mean? No, we couldn't catch. I said, oh, so it's still there? You're going to drag again? No fish. I said, Mike, what does he mean? He said, it means it's dead, or it's got eaten, or it's not there. And I wanted to walk into the car park and jump into the road, because it had no guarantee. It was past it Azukari time. It had no guarantee. And thankfully, because of the relationship Mike had with them, they, out of their kindness of their heart, they let me pick another fish. But even if you pick another fish, and they didn't have to, I must add, because it was past its due date. Even if you pick another fish, it's never the fish that you originally had. So it's like, it's not the fish you picked in the initial date. So yeah, Azakari is great, but I don't want people to think that you put it in there and wave a magic wand and you're going to end up with this, and it's going to be all like great stories. There is horror stories. I mean, I've left fish in Japan looking fantastic, ship it, and when you open that box, I mean, you both know, you open the box, you don't know what you're going to find, and you look at the fish and think, oh my gosh, it's split, it's peck open, it's upside down, it's
then you've opened a box, and then there's been this, holy shit, this is amazing. Right, I'm just gonna bring up your GC again.
Yeah.
Because you I wish I'd have done this earlier, to be fair. Is it going to come up? There we go. That is Tozai versus Yonzai.
Well, fifth season.
So 5-year-old. And that is the transformation from when Chip purchased versus now. How long did it stay in Japan for, Chip?
Well, I stayed with Mike till I asked him this, and he said it will be coming into finishing Nisai, so it was shipped around October, November, something like that. So it became Nisai here in the UK.
So,
and by the way, that
majority of the work then, Chip, right?
Yeah, which actually, when I talked to Mike, he, like I said, going back to what you said, Alan Tate said, Mike said, I did the starting, but he said, all credit to you. You finished the process. And he said, well done. I could have framed, that was worth more than a GC trophy. Just Mike saying that alone,
Absolutely.
But that picture Liam took is fantastic. But that picture is after he's dropped his egg and most of his body had lost. So before that, she looked better than that body. Yeah. Which some may argue was false body because it was eggs, but all fish at that time of season is carrying eggs.
It's not. This is the difference in the shows, though, Chip. Is it's a level playing field in a show.
Yeah.
Right. If your fish don't hold its eggs, you stand a better chance. They're only judging what's in front of them. Exactly. And I actually spoke to the judges on the day at the end of the judging day, because I didn't really see much of the show because obviously working, but I asked them how hard it is to actually judge koi in the circumstances that I found myself, where so many had dropped their eggs, and their words were, "It's fucking shit." Because what people don't know, if they lift a koi in size 5 or size 6, they have to lift every single koi in that category to judge them the same. One does not get the same treatment, a preferential treatment. And yeah, I wouldn't have wanted to judge on that, mate.
No, but, very difficult.
You know,
but thankfully
Go on, Lee. Sorry, mate.
Pardon? No. I was going to say, I felt for the judges, mate. Really trying to judge the koi through privacy glass, basically.
Yeah, that's a good way of putting it, mate. You know, it's like you couldn't see the qualities of some of the fish in some of the flats. It must have been shocking.
Yeah, it's like frosted glass. Yeah, it was difficult. And again, some was in good water. So yeah, it's very difficult for a good fish to sit in poor water because it's spawned, and then not so good fish in crystal clear water. It was a very difficult job for him.
Go on then, Chip, sir.
That's my Sakai. She's here in the UK. She could have come to the show, but I held her back.
The Fukarin is insane, mate.
So you know when I talk to you about like sumi is money, look at the sumi on that. And if you come now to, well, actually look on the video I dropped. You'll see them swimming together. This is smaller than the GC, but it makes the GC looks like a chagoi next to it. No offense against chagoi people, but this is.
I don't know how it's coming across to people at home because it downgrades the picture a little piece on the streaming software. But if you're seeing what I can see, the Fukarin, which is the sort of, if you look on around this area, it's probably more prominent here for you people at home. You'll see the white skin that grows over the scale and around the scale. That when that's good, it looks fantastic on a koi. It looks even better, in my opinion, on a Go Sankey, because you don't see that much Fukarin on fish on Go Sankey, and when it comes, it looks fucking fantastic.
If you come by pond side now and see this, and I say this, it looks really good. When it came out, when I finished QT it looked horrible. I was so disappointed when I netted it. I was looking at my heart sunk, but now with all the heat we've had in the food, it looks amazing. She's just settled. She's looking like a rock star. Like honestly, she's looking really good. So yeah, hopefully I could get a. I got a cert for that. I think it's Yonsei now.
4.
Yes, 4. Yes.
Chip, are you doing the? Sorry, are you attending the Great British? Are you showing there?
I am attending. I'm not showing. I'll be there on a Saturday.
I need a staff member. Well done, mate. Thank you for your.
Hey, you provide Welsh cakes. I'll be there.
I've got some coming.
And a t-shirt, Lee.
Yes.
Yeah. So she's Sakai fish. Really, that was Mike's favorite, his bestest fish he said he ever owned, and I twist his arm to buy it. I can't take any credit for raising it. He's raised that himself. I just bought it.
He raised it, mate. But again, this is a little bit my type of Sankey, where we look at the GC. Although the Subo, there's nothing wrong with this fish, and it's an adorable fish. But this is what I was saying earlier about personal tastes. For me, a little bit heavy in Sumi as a personal taste. When we go back to this one, banging. Sumi placement and the amount of Sumi, for me, outstanding.
Well, like today I was looking at that fish. Actually, I was talking to Ian in Bagoid, the Bagoid King. And I said to Ian, I said, before you go, if you see this Sakai Sankey right now, you'd fall over. The Sumi is looking, and the water is 25.8, and the Sumi looks like. Do you remember? Well, maybe Lee's too young, but do you remember, Crafty, when you have the bottle ink? Oh, Lee's a tattoo guy, you know. When you have the bottle ink, and it's so inky black, and you spill it in water, and you just see black flowing through the water. That's this Sumi is like a. What's really good about this Sumi as well is the Kiwa and the Sumi and the Sashi, which is not a lot of people talk about, but Sankey Sumi is different to Showa Sumi in many ways, and keyword on this sumi and the sashi on is very tight. If you notice, it just looks like Lee's gone in with his pen and done his work and came out.
Right,
It didn't just.
So just to explain it to the guys at home, the sashi line is this edge of the beni or this edge of the sumi.
Which is
Okay, so and then when we look at the kiwa, it's the end of the scale. So we're looking at how that finishes. It can finish in more than one way because it goes through different developments, and a lot of people don't understand that. But when we're looking at this, when Chip's saying it's tight, it's very tight, actually, Chip. I wouldn't just say tight. That's like top drawer. It's like we look in younger fish for 1 or 2 scales of deep depth for sashi, and it should be maintained throughout the whole of the pattern. So we don't want it in pieces. Is basically what that uniformity is, probably the best word. And that over time, dependent on bloodline and parent set, can change in a koi. The tighter, not necessarily the better, because a good sashi line is as good as no sashi line, as long as it's good. That's all you've got to remember. Is that a fair assessment, Chip?
And also where the sashi is on the koi. So further up the koi by the shoulders, thicker scales, and you find there it's more forgiving. Whereas if you go further down to the tail end of the koi, there where there's sashi, it's harder to get tighter. So the shoulder sashi tightens a bit better on the front end. So if you're looking at fish and you want fish, you're going to take a risk. I personally wouldn't take a risk with untidy sashi to the back end of the fish. I wouldn't take it more.
Why is that? Why is that?
It's just the size of the
smaller scales,
smaller scales, the way the skin pigmentation, the fuca in the wrap on the body. So if you look at the fish itself, if you ever had to take a fish scale off, they're very fine by the tail. If you ever had to take it off by the dorsal fin, I don't know if you ever had to do this, Lee. It looks like a guitar plectrum. It has like a shark tooth shape to it. So the fish have these koi have different scales all the way through its body. It's thicker. Down by the peck, it's bigger. It's more like a shield to protect it from attacks on the side. So like a tank. So you'd find it depends on where the sashi is. You want to take a risk. You don't just take a risk with sashi. You need to know where it's placed. Interestingly, Lee, this fish, the middle down reminds me of the UK map. So I was telling the boys
it does,
we're gonna call her Miss UK. Do you see the pattern of the?
Yeah, of course I do. I can.
Do you look at that, Lee, in the pattern? Whether
What's that?
Like if a pattern relates to anything, do you ever look at that? I never do.
No, I mean, listen, as an artist, my eye gets drawn to certain things. I'm quite good at working out patterns, whether it's balanced and all that kind of stuff. So I just appreciate a balanced pattern, Irizumi style, or like the Sakura kind of pattern style. If it's a nice pattern, I suppose if you look for a pattern, you can see it, but you can definitely see the UK map there. That's really cool.
Easily, yeah, you can. I mean, I never relate to a pattern or try and think, oh, it looks like. I've had people say, oh, it looks like Mickey Mouse. I'm like, now you've said it, I see it, but I don't ever see it until you point it out, right?
Yeah.
That is a stunner, Chip. I look forward to seeing that next year at the National. So if you don't take it, I'm going to throw you in the vat. Next one.
Oh, this is nice.
This is my Tamora Sankey that I bought. 2 years ago, maybe 3 at Nisai. We were in the have you been to Tamora?
No.
Okay, so we're in his main fish house.
You have, haven't you?
I think I have. Yeah.
And they're very nice people, and they kind of like buy you drinks, typical Japanese ways, and Mike kind of walks in and does the greetings, and Rena's there and she translates, and we all kind of left as hobbyists. I think I was with the Greys there as well. And you pick your own fish. We don't consult each other. I walk off and I stand and look. And this fish at Nisai, I don't think I have a picture, but at Nisai, all it had, Crafty, was a splotch on his shoulder. No, that's a different fish. So
to move it then. Sorry, mate.
Yeah. So all it had was that splotch on the shoulder, but the body was so incredible. And the splotch it had, I said to Mike, oh, I'll go for the Gorbachev Sankey. And he's like, no, what? I said, the Gorbachev.
Mate,
And
I
he's
see
like,
it now. You've said it. I see it.
no, I said it right. So he goes, because we talk in code. We don't want other hobby. What we don't do is point, because you point, somebody else sees you pointing.
Absolutely.
And,
right.
That's what
remember,
me and Ryan's like that at bloody picking events.
Because it's not just your party there. There's other people in the building, right?
It's when you're like that.
Yeah.
You know that?
So I said to Mike, Gorbachev, and he's like, he said, good call on the name. And that's actually in his pond right now in Sarah. It might go to the show, but I'm tempted to ship this home. I think it's like 78, 80 cm now.
That's stunning. That's one of my favorite of the night.
Yeah, mate, that's superb, isn't it, mate? Body's superb, mate.
You can see why I told you I'm a Sankey person. You're just going to see Sankey. But that fish, I had, when we put it in the bowl, I was like almost shaking Tamara San's hand. And Mike's like, hang on, you don't even know the price yet. And then we talked. And but you know, I was...
The key were here.
Oh, it's just, it's just
this is fucking brilliant.
Yeah. You know, some fish you buy because you just fall in love. This fish, I just fell in love when I bought it. I just saw it and I was like, yeah, Gorbachev's coming this way. And so she's with Mike. I may ship her next year, but she might go to I'm hoping she's good enough to go to a show in Japan, which I think she will.
Well,
my goal is Japan first. If I can show it in Japan, I will. But the danger is if you leave them too big to ship them, then the risk is higher. The cost is higher too, but the risk is higher. So at some point you got to bring her home, you know.
What about this one, Chip? Because this one really, I mean, don't talk about the qualities of the fish. Let's see if anybody at home, what is most striking, in my opinion, I've got an opinion. There is an attribute to that koi that is probably the best that we've seen tonight. It may be the picture, but for me, there's something in that fish that stands out. This is going to split opinion, though, I think, Chip. Before you say anything, what are you saying, Lee? What are you saying on this one?
It's stunning, mate. It's got a little bit to come, isn't it? But I mean, the Saroji quality is outrageous, isn't it? On that, I think.
Absolutely. There you go. Mate, that white skin and the pecks, the white in the pecks as well. Stunning.
So I bought that at Nisa. That's actually with Mike San. And I was a bit nervous when I bought it because I didn't know what the sumi will do eventually. Because if you look at the style of what I've bought before, they're very much hard subo sumi, right? However, sometimes you got to take risks, you know. And I was hoping it was going to be cheap, but it wasn't. I pulled it up and it just glow in the bowl. It was like, you know those things that you break?
It's going to be cheap, mate. It's like, there's no way that was going to be cheap. Just no way. What parent, what bloodline parent sets?
This is from tomorrow. I have to look at the certificate. He has it. I got a picture of it on my laptop. But this was like from his... So when I walked in, his helper came, which I always thought was his son, but it's not. And he came and he shook my hand. Well, do the Japanese hello. He said, Chipshan, your Sankey, it looks best Sankey we have, which was this one. That was so I think this might be the Nisai picture. I can't remember. I have to look back, but it's really nice. It's actually in Mike's pond right now, in Sarah as well. So that's with him.
Because
he gets to enjoy
Sankey like this, Lee, where the sumi only shows a speck, right? It's what it develops into that counts. You know, this is a bit of a risk. The Shiroji and the belly plate's excellent, but the sumi is very unpredictable where it's going to come.
Well, it looks like it's definitely going to come up though on the shoulders for a start, which is one piece of the puzzle. There is some showing in the midriff there as well, by the sides of the dorsal as well.
There's one key thing with this Sankey as well, is the body was tremendously strong. Like body to carry 90 cm, 95 cm. Have you ever, Lee, you've been to all Japan, right?
No, not yet.
Oh, no, okay.
No.
Right. So I've not been, but I've been to like the Hiroshima show and a few other.
Yeah.
If you ever see a 90 to 95 cm Sankey, it's breathtaking.
Mm.
It's
Oh, I
just
have seen them. I have seen them
Yeah.
in Odakan, etc., and the Nagaoka show as well. But yeah, it's
So this, in my opinion, this has the body to go the distance.
I mean, one standout in the structure is the size of the head, Chip.
Well, the width, the volume,
and the distance from this point to this point, and how big that mouth is.
And also, you may not be able to see it, but the paddle on it was absolutely ginormous. The tail is like a whale's tail. Huge. And that's kind of like a giveaway, right? Because
100%.
you got to pay attention to pecks and fins. People don't pay enough attention, in my opinion, to fins. Fins play an important part in the fish. I've seen big fish with small fins, and they look weird.
They do look very strange.
Yeah, they do. Yeah.
But this fish has paddles on it. Looks really, really good. Yeah.
It's very important, isn't it, when the fish fills out? A lot of that finnage gets obstructed by a powerful body, and then they can look too small.
So this fish is Takigawa. When I first bought it, this is just incredible fish. I think it's Momotaro, apparently bred with Dainichi. This fish is huge right now. It's in my pond. And the sumi is old school sumi. Just really, really, really like old school painted on sumi. It's way more sumi than it is now. It's like, have you ever had a fish that every day you look at it, it seems to be more sumi on it? And
I've got one currently, Chip, that I was given by Yamaguchi last year. It come out the mud pond, mate, with very little sumi showing whatsoever. But it was sat deep in the skin. You could see that there was sumi there. Now, mate, if I showed you pictures, it's a completely different looking fish, mate.
What I'll do is during the week I'll get this out and I'll film it and put it on my Instagram. Just so it's such an incredible fish.
What's your handle on Instagram, Chip?
Rasta Koi.
Just Rasta Koi.
Rasta Koi.
Guys, have a look at that.
Yeah. I'll tell you the story with this. When we went, I asked him. This is Hase at Takigawa. Rasta.koi. And I asked him, I said, is any of these fish for sale? And he says, no. And then he stopped and then turned around. The Grays were with me, Stephen and Anthony. And he turned around and said, but Chip-san, you come to Japan every year. You know my father. I'm thinking, is this like an engagement? What are we doing? And he said, because you bought from me, you know me, I let you pick a fish. So I picked this one. And I was surprised when he told me the price. Put it this way, when he told me the price, it was just to say thank you for coming to Japan so many years. By the time he said the price, I shook his hand straight away. And it's just, so for me, this fish has good memories.
Right, let's come off of this bit for a second, because we have had questions in from the public or the audience. I always like to just bring out a couple of little points of certain parts of the show. So first and foremost, Lee Taylor, can you recommend a good, decent food that doesn't break the bank?
You got it, sorry.
Go on, Chip.
Okay. Well, it depends on, like, I always see, like, what are you spending on your fish is my personal view. If your budget is like a couple £100, buying expensive food wouldn't necessarily turn that cheaper fish into a fantastic fish. And we all got bills to pay, right? So for me, I've always been sake curry all the way. FD food I've loved of late. When I say late, 2-3 years I've been using it. FD build up and their color up. It's very expensive, but good food. However, I was recently at Maidenhead Aquatics. I don't know if you've seen a video I did with me and Mr. Jenkins. And Maidenhead seemed to have secured a deal with Sake Ikari to make food for them specifically. And they've given me 2 bags to try out. It's all in Japanese. It's sold at Maidenhead. I think you could call up. And they are 5-kilo bags each and 2 for £50. But they're made in Sake Hikari by concession for Maidenhead only. But I've not tried it. But I read the ingredients with my phone and Google Translate, and it's very close to Sake Hikari ingredients they're using. But it's shipped from Japan straight to Maidenhead.
To Sake Gold, Chip.
Possibly. I don't know. I haven't used it. But I must say, when I cut the bag, because I could tell a lot by, I don't know if you're the same, but every time I cut a bag, I smell the food, right? So if you come by my feeder, it smells like cookies. You know, when you take cookies out of the oven, that smell, the Sake Hikari, the color. And this food has a similar smell. Obviously, it's a cheaper food because it's the price point is really low. So for me, I would say if you decent food that's not going to break the bank, I would say Sake Hikari balance. Just stick to balance if you can. That will be my.
If you're going lower than that price, Chip,
then Sake Hikari balance.
Yeah.
I used to feed before that. Do you remember a food called Takazumi?
Yeah, I stopped Takazumi. Yeah.
Yeah, so I used to feed. I think is that made in Holland? Is it a Dutch-made food?
Yeah, it is made. It's bought through Evolution Aqua.
Right, Takazumi, and actually I do like Medikoi and JPD. They're the 2 other options. Medikoi is actually a good food. Their color food Medikoi is underrated. Mike used to use Medikoi in Portishead.
Yeah, the probiotic one is fairly decent food, I believe. Takazumi, an extremely good range of food. They've literally got some for everything in different, whether it be health, color, growth, balance.
Yeah.
Junior, like premium, Bear Tozai. We use Takazumi on our not so top end fish. And it does a good job, and Sake on our bigger fish. But I mean, there is a new range of food coming out. The Keegan, I'm not going to push on that. Last video, have a look back on that. That's fairly well priced. And JPD as well is fairly well priced. I mean, Lee, anything from you, mate?
Oh, again, the only extensive food I've ever fed for a long time is Sake Hikari. So that's the only one I can vouch for, really. You know, I've never used the balance, but I do plan on running a couple of months on balance this year because I really want to try it. I've heard good stuff from it. So normally it's always growth, but I've not really tried any of the cheaper foods, like, you know, what Chip was just going on about and stuff. So I can't really comment on it.
I mean,
the balance on color is a good mix.
Right? Your budget, and if you can stretch to 180, 200 quid for a bag of sake that can, and 15 kilos, right? 15 kilos in most people's ponds will last a hell of a long time. If you can do that, you will see the benefits of that food 100%. 100%.
Well, I mean, like Crafty, one of the things I would say is important is, especially because my game is raising koi big to their potential. And I saw Seabay doing this, is you got to put the food in the fish, right?
Absolutely.
But it depends on what you want. Not everyone's wired that way. So I would, I use a machine. I'm out there checking. I'm up for first feed to make, when it goes off, I stand there to see how they're consuming it. And it's how much you into it. If it's all horses.
Objective is key. And I often ask this question when people are asking me, right, what's the best koi for you? I say that's an easy answer. That's it's not necessarily the food that you need. What is your objective? Are you showing koi? Do you want to grow them? Are they just like pets that you like looking at? And then you sort of then go in at the budget. I always refer to sake as the Michelin star diet for koi.
Well, the Michelin star price too, but
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Colin Holland asks what you do for a living.
IRL. I thought I said Ralph. Do you work for Ralph Lauren? No.
I don't know what IRL means, but
I think
what
he's
do you
just
do for a living,
dyslexic
Chip?
and he thinks he's in the IRA.
He's got quite a big nose as well, mate. So it probably got in the way of when he was.
He's
typing
got a nice Sankey there on his profile picture.
That was from Yoshina.
Oh right, wow.
Yeah, that was bought 2 years ago from me. That one.
But one of the foods I really like I said, a couple years ago, I've been trying it, is FD Build Up Extra. It's not cheap, but I've noticed some fish I had that wouldn't body up when I started to what do you say, put it in and now feeding it. I noticed those fish bodied up with it. So I just can't seem to find sinking. They used to do FD Build Up Extra sinking, but I'm not sure if it's around. I think Seabay isn't he an agent for them or something like that?
Mike at Shosha for FD Food. Yep.
Okay. Yeah. But I do rate.
But what do you do for a living, Chip? Are you going to tell us?
Yes, I'm a minister.
Is that what you do for a living?
Ask Lee. Lee knows I'm doing it. When am I doing your wedding, Lee?
So he's going to redo my vows in May. He's coming down, and there's a lovely fishing river there as well.
On the Y, right?
Yeah. Well, no, it's not on the Y. No, it's in the Cleddau East. Little trout fishing river.
Ah, yes.
A little village called Larn. A little village called Llahadin.
Right. Oh, I think I saw signs to that.
Yeah, it's lovely. You're gonna love it. I grew up. That's where I learned to fish. Basically, is on that river.
Oh, wow.
With little Mep spinners, size 1 and 2. But
old school.
Yeah, old school. But I think I might get the fly rod out and it's like sort of like little chalk streams going up. Do you know what I mean? It's class. Last time I was up there a few months ago, they didn't see me obviously because I didn't want to be seen, and I am a sniper. But I was watching 2 old fellas taking it in turns, like stalking up the river. Do you know what I mean? And they're talking, "Hey Rupert, there's one. There must be some there, George. Go on, Rupert, mate." I was just watching them for ages, thinking to myself,
you can catch one like this big, and it's like you've won the cup, right?
Mate,
it's
just
the whole
beautiful little brown trouts. That's all you'll have from there.
Yeah, they're absolutely fantastic.
Yeah.
Alan Tate asks or says, Yasu Koi, evening. Are you enjoying the Holland show setup?
Yes, sir.
They have come back and said they've been moved to the centre ring. So well done to both Matt and Carly. While we're on that subject, Chip, everyone that appears on our show, mate, gets a Koi Show Live t-shirt. So if you can send me over your size, it's clearly a triple XL looking at the way you sat there, friend. But yeah.
Glad you do.
Yeah, so Yasu supply our merch for the show. So,
that's because I was trying to remember the name. I've seen the name. Okay.
So
and Chip,
show, they're brilliant people as well.
Make sure you come up and see me in the Great British, Chip, to get your blackout Tafaguchi edition.
I will do 100%. I'll be there on a Saturday, so
awesome.
So Matt Gilmore asks, sorry to be off topic. There's no need to apologise. You're never off topic. We're talking about koi. It's what we do. What's your thoughts on Alpharex with salt to 0.6?
I don't use Alpharex because I run soft water, and I don't think it's advisable to use it with soft water. I don't use it.
KH needs to be above 5 from the top.
Above 5, yeah.
So
when I use it, when I got fish coming in here from Japan or QT and fish, I need to raise the pH to give them a dose of that. Yeah, it's a nightmare.
And even raising it with bicarb, it's different, to having a stable KH. So I don't really use it, but salt I do. Yeah, salt I use.
Yeah. I would challenge Matt why you're at 0.6 because that's a fairly high dose salinity rating. If you're being advised by another person within the UK that it's okay to keep your koi at 0.6, I will steer you clear away from it because prolonged exposure to 0.6 salinity in koi over amount of time will literally demolish the benny in your fish. It will break 100%. The benny down. Okay, so if you're on, I mean, I only ever go to 0.6 when I'm dealing with sleeping sickness, and then I will dose with Alpha X on top. But you shouldn't really be maintaining a 0.6 salinity rating at all in a pond. It's not good for your fish. And again, you're removing the ability to tonic your fish if required, or move your water to a 0.6 if you are dealing with quite a heavy outbreak of parasite. All right, so you're removing that because you're already at it. And it's always best to use it as a tool rather than a prolonged exposure. So it's not a problem, Alpha X, as long as your KH is stable and above 5, and 0.6 with it is safe. But really look at bringing that salinity level to 0 or minimum 0.3, a maximum 0.3. You know?
And that's the advantage of having like recycle arrow, because you could remove the salt quickly with it.
Absolutely, yeah.
Where they're trying to trickle it out, take forever.
It's like black magic to me, Chip. That.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, this is a good one from Red Rose Koi. Actually, then first show was the North of England Koi show. We had baby and young champion, which I thought was great. But unfortunately, the young champion did get a bang on the shoulder on the Benny by, I'm not sure who, someone at the show. It was just a pure accident, mate. It was an accident, but it was quite a deep little ding actually. And I think the only thing, it's just going to be time that's going to heal that up. But yeah, it was a bit of a bang. But yeah, 0.3, 24 degrees. It's just time, mate. That's all it is.
Is it a Tozai, do you know, or Desai?
No, I think it's a Tozai. I think it's a jumbo Tozai, I would say. Maybe just going into Nisai, I guess.
I would personally give it time, and with the weather we have, get a lot of color food in it to help it repair it.
Yeah.
That's what I would be doing.
I'd agree. The big thing that you've got working for you now is the temperature. Temperature is a big healer for koi, especially these sort of temperatures. And it's nice and warm. 0.3 will help it, but will 0.3 salinity really do much? Not really. The temperature's the key.
Yeah, time's going to heal that.
Time is a healer. That's what I say.
Bloody nice fish, though. You should see the kiwa on it. Bloody hell.
Oh.
Matt Clowry says he tends to turn to his dealer to ask questions rather than listen to Facebook. I think different people follow different routes. You know, I think they get tired of Facebook eventually when they start seeing the same old rigmarole thrown. You know, you see an ulcer in the side of a fish and someone's like, have you done a scrape? And it's like, fucking hell. It's like, yeah, wash your water parameters, like always go over the same stuff. But, you know, for me, you touched on some earlier, Chip, which actually I really do agree with, which is you grow out of dealers. You know, I think that you don't necessarily grow out of dealers. I think that if you look at what dealers do across the UK, dealers have different places within the ladder of the koi. You know, you've got more specialists up here that deal with a lot of show koi, and you have people at the bottom like Lee, back garden sellers, jokingly, back garden sellers that just do console fish and they knock out koi. Everyone has got a place within that ladder. It's where you fit in that. It's like you will get so far in your education and supply needs with a dealer and then move on to the next and move on to the next.
But it does depend what dealer that is, though, because if it's a high-end dealer, let's just say Ryan, maybe, that actually does everything from maybe a cheaper mix, but if you wanted to, he could provide something for, you know, the koi shows in Japan. So I think it does depend on who the dealer is.
But it also is the person or the company. There's more to it than just what fish you get. It's
maybe you clash heads grow out of that person. Yeah.
Well,
it can happen.
For my feeling, it's the business plan of the koi dealership. So it's very hard for me to buy a fish in the UK if I walk into a dealer. And it's kind of like a challenge to the UK dealers to kind of like, yes, I know you got to sell fish because you got to pay bills. We all got to pay bills, especially with current climate and all that. But I think the ability to buy fish and nurture them, and that's one of the things I loved about Koi when it was here and in Bristol. You would see fish and you think, I don't know if it's worth that. And Mike used to always say, you would see it grow into its price range. And sure enough, one
Yeah,
season
that's
or two
true.
seasons, we go back and he's raised it, and you think, why didn't I not buy that? And the thing is, it happened so many times. Then I realized that this man knows what he's looking at. He's not just,
Mm.
he does just buying a load of fish and then having a clearance sale at the end of the season. He's going to show you that this fish will grow into its price range. And I know it's hard for dealers because you got bills to pay and you got stuff to sell. But his strong point was to raise fish in a way, and it takes time, but to raise fish to show people this is a fish and this is what it's going to become. And it's very hard to find that today in the UK for me specifically.
Absolutely. You know, Chip, it's very difficult as a dealer to achieve that as well, because it's not just about the bills, it's about having the space, the time, the ability, the setups, you know, and the ability to then sell that fish on. Because if you don't make the space, you don't get the new stock to sell on for the next, you know, to keep that business turning over.
Yeah,
and I know when Mike moved to Japan, mate, he was left with a fucking lot of fish that were either sold or too big to move anywhere.
Well, he did sell out all in the end. They all sold out. But like for me, there's been fish there from, if you look back at my early videos when we used to go down to Mike and you would see the boys in it, there'll be fish that I'll be, Mike, where's this fish been? He goes, it's been here all the time. No one's give it a second look. But by the time it swings into Nisai, going into Sansai, then you see, okay, that's why that fish is X amount. You can see it. So yeah, it is, he was different in many ways. He's dealing with a different level. So for me, it's kind of difficult in the UK. I kind of like hardly buy a fish, walk into a deal and buy a fish, unless it's something like that little one I bought from Absolute Koi, the little Sankey or something, you know.
But you've been blessed, Chip, with, let's say, a relationship with somebody that's gone to Japan, that has got an extensive knowledge in koi, that you have got a relationship because it gives you a lot of one-to-one time when you go over there, you know, and having the access to some of those amazing fish and the ability to be able to afford that. You know, everyone is at a different place.
It's a different, absolutely, 100%. I think there are some dealers that I've looked around. I know the Greys, that's their goal, is to make growing ponds and raise fish and things like that. So for me, I think it's a good thing. But like I said, I understand that bills and taxes are not getting any lower or lesser. And
Leah tell you, it's a completely different ball game buying fish as a hobbyist to buying fish as a dealer, mate. And
100%.
It's so difficult. It's not an easy feat, is it, mate?
Yeah.
No, I mean, yeah. I mean, I'm not trying to turn over masses of volumes of fish. For me, that it's like, I mean, I do like what Mike used to do, finding what he can and actually grow them to their potential. That's kind of what I'm trying to do at a smaller scale. I mean, I got some nice little potential fish here for shows that I'm trying to put body on and all that kind of stuff and holding things back. It's more interesting for me. It's really good, but yeah, it's a different kettle of fish.
You had that Yoshino Sankey in your vat that has got so much potential. And did it go?
The Yoshino Sankey. Which one? Up the Great North?
The North Koi show.
No, I don't think. I don't think it has. No.
Mate,
that's what I'm saying.
For me, that was the easiest pick in that pond. I mean, you know, and for the value that you had it at, mate, it was a stunner. And I'm like, when you see Chip's fish tonight, when I'm looking in there, I'm like, where's that going? Having that understand, mate, that fish is going to do things, I think. In the right hands, it will go places.
Yeah, that's it. In the right hands, yeah.
But you've done it, Lee, with smaller fish, right? Like Tosai to Nisai, up and top.
Yeah,
so it's like the next stage. It's like the knee side to sand side, and then
yeah, exactly. Yeah. I've had some good success with like cheaper Hoshkin fish, £95, and then 2 years later, like adult champion in the national, etc. And yeah, young champions and stuff like that. Yeah, it can be done. It can be done, and that's my interest, really. That's what this business is about for me. It's not boxing up as many fish I can get out the door. For me, it's hopefully I'll get to the point where I have got the money to go over to Japan pond side and buy the quality that I want to be able to push in this facility, which is it's capable of how I've set it up. So, but Rome wasn't built in a day.
True. Colin Gillian states, Crafty, got a nice kit, sorry, from you at the North East Koi Show. It's doing great living in Dumfries. Scottish water, mate. Looking at some of the fish that come from there, mate, their skin is just like second to none. I remember taking them up last year, mate, and never again. Assume you just. I didn't want to take them in the first place. I was pressured because they was after them. But Lynn, what's gone on there? Lynn Griffiths, Matt from Yasu. So the legs belong to Matt from Yasu Koi, who's currently in Holland on the picture earlier, waiting for the show. So, Lynn, if you can text whoever it is that you watch or whoever your dealer is, because obviously it's going to be one of us, what your size is, and I'll sort you out a Koi Show live T-shirt. Well done. But yeah, good leg appreciation there. Paul Windmill, hi guys, hope you're well. Well done, Rasta Koi, for achieving what many of us would dream of. Pure dedication to get koi to that size and quality. There you go, mate. Bit of love for you.
And he's had some help from the Lord as well.
Yeah.
And from Wales.
And from Wales.
Sean Leonard, evening, gents. What feeding system does Chip think or things best, please? Does Chip think is best, please? There you go. What feeding system are you using at the minute, Chip?
What do you mean? Like like a regime or what machine or what?
Just give us an overview of what you do feeding wise.
So
if you want to, you don't have to, because
it's fine.
You're in the show
season. I like right now I've begun feeding end of July heavily. So my goal is like right now I'm feeding close to with the stocking level I got. My goal is to get them up to 1 kilo a day of food in there into the fish in there. And right now I started feeding at 5 a.m. And while we were talking, the last feed just went off, and the last feed just went off. So they get feed every 2 hours, and they get fed enough food that at the last bit of the food, they're lazy going, taking it. They're not just rushing it and it's all gone. It's like lazy feeding. So I think Seabay said this as well, but which is what I agree with, is when you're growing koi, you got to put the food in them to grow. You've got to get the food in. And that's the point made with the heat and the genetics. If the food is not going in and you're not putting the heat, you're not putting it to its potential. So yeah, that's my feeding regime. So I feed all the way from now till the end of November, December. I keep the water at 24 degrees all the way to December. I block it off with polycarb sheet. I'm sure you've seen the videos. And I'll start slowing down December. January, I would knock off the food and then start conditioning. Now it would be February on there. So my main feeding season is from end of July all the way till end of November, first week of December.
I want to just move on to your pond setup, Chip. You've just moved over to mountain tree filtration.
So, in the quarantine,
Yeah. So just give us a quick rundown of what you've bought, why you changed it, and whether or not at the moment you're seeing any differences within that pond.
Okay, so this is my quarantine system, not the main pond. So the quarantine system, I use a red label drum, and they have their Red X matting in there. And what I found is I always use as a QT, so I never fed, But this year I wanted to feed a little bit more. You might have seen my video. I got some Ueno showers I'm growing. So I began to put the food in, but the Red X matting was catching the waste and it was getting blocked. And like I was saying, I felt like one of them old West Indian people scrubbing clothes by the river. I was like pumping that thing. I was going to play some soul music in the background while I was doing it. But when I was talking to Chris Giles and then my own reading, just reading a bit, I started looking at Mountain Tree Generation 3 because I know they had some issues with the first one. The first one put me off because I knew they went sandy and people had problems. So
it fell to pieces, yeah.
Yeah. So I tried it. I talked to Chris, Selective Koi Sales, and he said, look, try it and see what you think. And so I put the red mat in, I cut it in, put it in. I noticed like now, so it didn't happen instantly. This was after the national, so I don't know how long, maybe a month and a half ago or something like
6
that.
weeks, yeah.
But I noticed now I've got fish in there and the water is like crystal clear. There's no thing, and I'm feeding a lot of food in there. So I think what it's allowing is two things. A, it's not trapping the waste after the plastic bubbling media, which is the only place I use it. It lets it go through the mountain tree. It goes all the way around and the drum takes it off. But the mountain tree itself and the green thing matting they use seem to have quickly mature because the waters are 25 in there because of that garage and the heat we have. And it seems to have quickly matured. It took like 5 weeks, and there was less than 5 weeks actually, like 3 weeks, and there was no reading. So that's the quarantine.
No reading from ammonia and nitrite or slight nitrite or
no reading whatsoever. No, but I do have a lot of moving bed in there that's in that system. So the moving bed was already mature. All right, so it was only one part of it. In my main pond, I only use a drum and backy shower was with BHM. There's 400 kilograms of BHM and 5 sticks of mountain tree that was left over. I pushed it in the top shower.
Funny enough, I've just bought I think 2 or 3 more boxes of Lotus Tree Generation 2 though.
Okay.
So I've got some of that coming. I've got a couple of the spiral mats coming and some of the 3D floss as well. I wanted to trial that. So that's going to be quite good.
We've just put some of that into our systems.
Yeah.
So
but I noticed this week the water looks so much better in the QT.
Are you seeing a sparkle in your water from the Gem 3 from the mineral release?
100%, yeah. It kind of reminded me when Lee, you might remember when you first put in BHM, you get what I call the BHM sand deposit after it washes out.
That's right, yeah.
But then the water the next day has like a glacier tingy look, like snow water. You know what I'm talking about? Like a glistening.
Yeah.
The water in the QT is like that at the moment. So it'd be interesting to see how long it lasts. But there's 2.5 boxes of Generation 3 in the QT. So
what sort of flow rate are you pushing through your QT pump?
So I'm using one of those do you know what's the name? It's a sequence pump, but a new one. Absolute Koi was selling them. They're the DC pumps. I forgot the name of the chap. Somebody might put it on here, but Absolute Koi sells them. And you could dial it. It's an old sequence used to make MDM pumps. That's the one I'm thinking. Yeah, they're fantastic pumps. The only thing is they don't do 3-inch in and 3-inch out. It's 1.5 inch in and 2-inch out. So if they made them big enough, I'll put it on my main where my flow friend is. I'll put one of those because that system is costing me like 30 watts to run, and it's running like 3 times more powerful than because it's a DC pump. See, so it's very, very economical.
I mean, for
very
me,
expensive.
What I'm seeing is with the matting that they sell, the flow rates, you don't back the water up, and it catches the crap well.
Yeah,
you know, and yeah, I mean, we're just in it, but looking at what we've done already, it's doing a good job with regards to catching and the flow not backing up and still getting a good flow through it. Where what we've seen with the other stuff is like too much crap builds up and then that flow struggles, you know. So hopefully,
I noticed. Yeah, Sakai Fish Farmers built all their new houses with the mountain tree stuff as well.
Well, Yeah, so I'm not going to let too much go of what I've been working with, but look at if someone in my head, if someone like Sakai, sorry, has invested in his Victory House, that amount of money into a media, then to me, mate, that says that it's doing things. He's not just going to throw money into it and put fish into that growing house, because them fish are worth so much money. He's not going to put.
I think it's great media. Do you know what I mean? I've been using. So Mountain Tree worked with me about 2.5 years ago. They gave me a couple of boxes of the Gen 2 stuff. That's why I've gone with Gen 2 again, to keep the generation the same in the backy shower that I've got there, right? So I don't want to mix the two generations, just for a comparison. But it's brilliant. It hasn't gone brittle at all. It's matured absolutely fantastic. It's been constantly wet for 2.5 years. And it's great. And the new stuff, when you take the new stuff out, when you put your tongue on it, I know it sounds stupid, but it just sucks it all out. It's so porous. It cannot do anything but good. Do you know when you've got like, when you see something and you look at it and you think, yeah, it's going to do exactly what it says it's going to do, because you just got that bit of confidence about the product. And that's exactly how I feel about it, to be honest.
So then, Jeff's asking from Just for Koi. If you haven't seen his channel, he's built a fabulous big pond. He's just starting to get it going and running with fish going in. Go over and have a look. He's a really nice guy as well as Jeff. So you'll know him because he's got proper good teeth.
He's not very good on a ladder, though.
No, it's true.
He'd make a crap burglar.
Yeah, that's true as well. Mountain Tree over BHM. For me, when you're looking at the costings, when you look at Gen 2, I think it's 112 quid for 15 tubes. I can't remember off the top of my head what Gen 3 is. But when you look at
160 or something, is it?
160-ish, yeah.
When you look at the difference, the amount of technology that's gone into Gen 3, yeah, either or, but Gen 3 looks really good. When you look at the technology and what it's about, costing, Gen 3 over BHM all day long.
I think so as well. Like, my main pond has got about 200 kilos of BHM, right? I think, hand on heart, if someone put 200 kilos of Mountain Tree, Gen 3 and BHM, I literally think I would take the Mountain Tree, regardless of price. If it was going to be free, I would take the Mountain Tree.
Yeah, I really like how it's machined and how it works the water through the media.
It doesn't break so easy. Like, the problem I've moved the BHM a few times through different showers, and yeah, obviously, yes, it's fired at a high temperature. It's going to be brittle, but it really is a bit too brittle, I think. But I think they both do an amazing job. You can't fault either or. I'm just saying, if I had to pick, I'd probably go with the Mountain Tree at the moment. What about you, Chip?
My main pod is BHM Run, 400 kg, and
what did that cost you?
It's hard to say, because this is like stuff I've had for donkey's years.
Yeah, it's expensive stuff.
Yeah, it's been there a long time. So it's like gold in the filter, right? And it's not gone wrong. It works well. I've had it out, mature it. So for me, I'm BHM. Now, the only way I'm going to change from BHM, could you imagine me getting them trays out? They're like coffins.
Yeah.
You know, they're doubles in there. Huge. 400 kgs of BHM. It means that Mountain Tree is going to have to fly over enough Generation 3 to worth my time to go in there, hike them out, reload it up with it, and then try it again. Right now, I'm growing fish in Yonsai to 80 cm on BHM. It's taking a kilo of food a day. I don't really deal with trichodina. I don't really have those kind of issues. So for me, you know that old saying, if it ain't broke, don't try and fix it. So right now, for me, BHM.
It's the same with me with my shows. I got 200 kilos in there. I wouldn't take it out to put Mountain Tree in it. That would be a right ball ache. However, Chip, I know you've only just started using Mountain Tree products, but if that backy shower was empty and you had 400 kilos of brand new BHM or brand new Mountain Tree Lotus Root third generation, what would you pick gut feeling?
I still go with BHM.
Because you've tried it and you know it.
Because I've thrown a lot of food at it, and it's worth. The disadvantage with showers, and this is what people don't tell you, the truth behind showers is it's terrible for treating fish because it strips the chemicals out quickly. If I throw in malachite in it, and I mix my own malachite, I don't buy it, I buy the crystals and I mix it. Within a day, it's crystal clear because the showers very good, like a foam fractionator. You know, one that it takes all the stuff out. So showers are very good for removing the chemicals. It's like almost the parasites, Mike would say, they're sitting on the BHM waving at you while you're putting chemicals in. The showers is removing it. So that's a disadvantage. But you know, as long as I've been keeping koi from when I started with Mike, well, let's just say 2010, I've been using BHM till now. And Mike has just built all his fish houses in Sarah, and all of those are BHM and showers. They're all there. He's got options in Japan because Hiroshima Sakai Fish Farm is maybe half an hour from him, so it's not far. So if he wanted Mountain Tree, he could get it.
A new facility rather than replacing what you've got. If you were setting up a new facility, then what?
I would like to build 2 ponds identically, put one BHM, one generation 3, put the fish in and feed them together and see which one does what.
Okay.
That's what I'd like to do.
You see, when I see Sakai with Victory House and that massive walkway with all the matting in there, the brick hanging and the back house.
I understand.
The Gem-free media.
Yeah.
It's got to have that trust in product is unreal.
They're kind of like West Indian in me maybe wonders, has he done a deal with Mountain Tree to get that put in there? So what he's getting, because he's Sakai different, I don't know. But equally, you wouldn't.
That is a fact. They do.
But what I'm saying is, equally, he wouldn't put junk with his best fish, would he?
Exactly. No. That's the bit for me.
So you have to weigh it up. So yeah, I mean, time moves on, right? Not everyone is driving Ford Escorts.
Cars renew every year, don't they?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Right. So Matt Gilmore has come back. Had Costier a few weeks back. Got rid. Few of the fish were then very red and veiny. Was advised to rate 0.6. So I would say 0.3. The fact that they're veiny would suggest to me that Costier is probably still present. Scrapes they found Costier and Chilo Danella. Consent, sure, if I could put Alpha X 0.6. Matt, if you're right, so both Costier and Chilo are actually very easy to kill. I would look at your setup. Something is not working in your setup, or you've got a fish that is a pain in the ass, and like the snotty kid at school that's always got green slime running out his nose, right? A fish is either bringing that issue to your pond, or the setup of your pond is not working and creating a stress event, or the filtration is not doing its job, or you're getting sediment sitting in a pipe, something like that. You've got to look at the bigger thing rather than you keep getting it. It's not the fact that you keep getting it, it's why you're getting it you need to look at. So rather than go on, Chip.
Yeah, can I add, it could also be dosage amounts and his actual volume, because people exaggerate the volume of the pond and may not put the right dose to the volume. In my experience, what kills them very quickly, and I say very quickly because I use it in my QT, is PP.
Absolutely.
And I use PP a little bit stronger than the average beer. You have to be I use PP like the Japanese do. So
I use PP as a go-to for a lot of things.
Chip. Yeah. So like if you come into like Lee has his medicine cabinet there. If you come into mine, you'd only see PP and malachite crystal. That's it. I don't really deal with flukes. I have flukes, but I in my main pond, I've not seen flukes for years. I deal with it in the quarantine because it's a smaller system, easy to treat. But like with those things, I mean, you've seen my videos. I tend to double dose with the flukes treatments because, again, showers strip it out quickly and drums strip it out quickly. So, but that's me. I'm not saying everybody do that. That's my way, you know. So.
But looking at what you're dealing with, Matt, I would look at the setup or whether or not you've got a fish, because you'll know more than anyone whether you've got a fish that is showing the signs all of the time that is then passing it on. Okay, so, but yeah, hopefully that helps you at least. Chip, what's your thoughts on multi-bay filters and what media, etc., would you have in there?
The last time I used a multi-bay filter was, I did use it in Old House. They work, and I know there's people who work that use them successfully. The reason I hold my head is you've got to be on the ball and keep it clean and keep emptying that vortex, and you've got to. And when I did that, my time, I got kids, I got life, I got travel. I just don't have the time to keep doing that. So, yes, the filter will work, Lee, and it will, but it depends on whether you have the time to keep it clean. Because I think you start with a vortex, if I remember, then you go to a Japanese Martin or brush or something, then you go Japanese Martin, then you go to K1, then back to the pond. Is that right? Something like that.
Well, multi-bay, you can do it how you want, can't you? You can put pumice stone in. You know, it's a very individual sort of filter.
Individual, yeah. But I mean, like, so I say that, right? You got to be on it. But then you go to someone like Marahiro Lee, and you look at his filters, and they look like they haven't been clean for 1,000 years.
Mate, Marahiro stuff is mad. He's just got bits of old, like it looks like old plastic wire coated nets, just all crumpled up by King Kong stuck in there.
The worst one's Marasay, mate.
Marasay,
filter at the back of his, it's rank.
Yeah,
it's like
unbelievable.
You know, like I said, you go to Japan and it makes you realize you stress about things that the Japanese don't stress about. Sometimes
I can remember it is crazy when I was building my pond. There's a little bit of mortar that touches the water every now and again under the flagstones. Oh my god, they're going to get lime poisoning. I said, mate, half of the ponds in Japan are not even painted with anything. It's just poured concrete.
Exactly.
Do you know what I mean? And another thing where you see the breeders smoking the cigarettes and then just chucking them down into their filters. Extra filter media. It's like Generation Lutus Rope Mark IV.
That's the thing. When you go to Japan, you kind of relaxed a bit about keeping cool because you realize they're dealing with high-end stuff. Now, I'm not saying that they don't care, but they realize we panic about stuff that they don't think about, in that way.
Yeah, right. It's awesome.
Eric Gorman says, Rasta, very smart man of God.
Well, I'll take the compliment. Thank you. I'm still learning.
We're all still learning. Chip, thank you very much for joining us this evening. I'm going to wrap it up now. Sure. We've gone through all the questions. We didn't get through everything that you've done. So, like I say to everyone, actually an extremely good conversation. Would you like to come back another time?
Sure, if you'd have me, I'll come back.
Absolutely great.
And I'll wear the. Well, I got to decide. Do I wear
Koi Show Live T-shirt
or do I wear Koi Show? Do you have a collab shirt?
Yeah,
that's the one.
Yeah, we need a triple collab: Koi Show, Rasta, and Tafaguchi.
Well, that's the one. Let's work together. You soon come back. Where did you put it? Because I thought I'd start it, but I didn't. Oh, that's Yaz. They're loving the Holland Koi Show. They will sort the T-shirt out. There you go.
All right. So let's do a three-way collab. I was going to ask you, Crafty. My question to you.
Go on.
How is the shower doing that I gave your daughter 5 years ago?
And it is a female.
There you go, Lee. See,
she's probably. I don't net my fish very, very often at all, Chip, to measure them or anything. They stay in the pond. Yeah. She's about 70 cm now.
Wow. If I remember right, she was tiny, wasn't it?
So it's called Chip after you.
It must be the most beautiful fish in the world.
Wait, I'll tell you, it's a quality fish. It's held its body well. The sumi, the sumi's the next level. It's really good.
It's got no hair either, Chip.
Yeah, it's got no, it's bald. Like.
I think, did we get it from exclusively?
No, we got it from Koi Collection, Ken.
Right. Yeah, because I went over and I tried to get them to donate fish to the kids. So I went around to all. This is what I need to do at the national next year. Get kids, walk into Tafaguchi and say, you need to donate a fish to this kid once they have a pond and things like that. And they did it because your daughter, you know, she's done well to keep it alive for that long, and it's female.
You know, credit goes to me for that bit, mate. I promise you.
But it's a good memory, right? Good memory.
Yeah, absolutely, mate. Yeah, well, I meant to mention it earlier, actually, but maybe Chip, we can get you on when because you've done us a favour today. You've spoken to Mike Snedden's son, and he is
Lord Snaden. I call him Lord Snaden.
Okay, you call him Lord Snaden, I call him Mike. He's agreed to come on the show. Yes. So maybe we should have you back at the same time if we can organise that.
Oh, teacher and student. I don't know. I'll be in his shadow.
And then we can throw little balls at each other.
He could throw insults at me. People love when he insults me on camera. He does it all the time.
But yeah, so Mike has agreed to come on the show. What we will do together, we've got a little bit of logistics to sort out because there's a time difference between here and Japan. So we may have to do a slightly earlier live broadcast, but even if you're at work, you can watch it back. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, sure.
And then we'll get everybody on together if you're up for that, Lee. I should imagine.
Yeah.
And it'd be good to get Mr. Snedden on.
Yeah, it'd be great.
For everybody that's tuned in, thank you very much as always. It's been, for me, an actual really pleasant evening. Thank you, Chip.
Really good one.
Really appreciated that.
Thank you, guys.
And thank you for participating. If you're not out and about, have a look on Facebook, pick up on the Holland Koi show, because I dare say there's going to be a big karashi or yummy or something like that that's going to wow the socks off you. And hopefully next week, I think, I keep saying it, but I think it's Tim Waddington.
It's Tim, I think. Which I just want to give a little shout out as well, which actually works out quite good because obviously Tim Waddington's on next Friday, and on the Saturday.
It's not. I'll tell you who it is. Somebody else. It's not. I'm not going to say who it is.
Right. Okay. But obviously next weekend, guys, is the Koi Heaven event up in North Wales with Daryl.
Next weekend or this weekend?
Oh, this weekend. No, not tomorrow. The following weekend. Right, okay. So it's next weekend. So I mean, if you want to go, guys, if you want to go, pop over to his page. Make sure you book on because there's limited amount of camping now, and obviously Liam the Pig King's going to be there as well to cook us some breakfast with one of his boars or sows, whatever you call it.
Good fodder, mate.
I know. I can't wait for that.
Is it wild boars or farm raised?
No, I think he can grow a good swine.
Oh, all right, okay.
That's it. Yeah, it's his own. You know, you think you can grow a good Sankey? You should see his pigs, mate.
Actually, with double guest next week, it is Tim Waddington with somebody else.
Absolutely fantastic. And do you know what else I'm going to do tonight, Chip? I'm going to go straight in now. Cuddle me whippet, and I'm going to go right back on some of your videos and watch some of Mike Snedden's original stuff from the place in Bristol. You know, I'll have to go back a few years though.
Yeah. You know, so a lot of, like I said, you know, a lot of what I do is not me; it's Mike teaching myself. You know, and like you said at Wildcraft, it kind of worked out, and somehow it was a line that we became friends and. Still now, you know, for many years we fished together, stay at his place, you know, and but he is brilliant. He's frustratingly brilliant. Is that a word? But that's what he is.
Absolutely. Frustratingly brilliant. He's a really nice guy as well.
Yeah. But yeah, he's fantastic. I will put that Sankey, that Takigawa Sankey with the minimalist sumi coming up. I'll put it on my Instagram reel so people could look at it in the week.
Right, and just before we go, Chip, where can folk find you on YouTube, mate?
So Rasta Koi on YouTube, just type Rasta Koi, same with the Instagram. If you go on Instagram and you look at the handle, there's a click link. It's also on TikTok. Can you believe it? I'm on TikTok as well. I was looking for Lee to tag.
You are a social hand grenade, mate. You love it. A social hand grenade. You have to everywhere.
I try. It's you remember, I go back to my nature. I told you I can't do something. You got to be in it. Yeah. That's how I'm wired. So
perfect. Lee, thank you for joining us again. Chip, thank you for joining, and we will see you again next week. Same place, same time, 7:30 on Friday. Goodbye, everybody.
Bless you. Bye.
Awesome.
Chip, don't go anywhere. Stay there.
Okay.